If you've ever waited 7 months for football and then been paid off handsomely on week one, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Main event is tonight. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's PreMarket Playbook. Today is going to be the Monday, September 8th edition, where we kick off another awesome week here, and we are still recovering from what we saw this weekend. We are loaded up here today. We've got some news to break down today. We're going to have some more economic prints this week. We got a killer interview coming for you today, especially if you're interested in Bitcoin Treasury strategies. Oh, man, it is going to be a good week. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Monday, September 8th, starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. I am still buzzing, not even sure I've really slept a whole lot because of everything that's going on, but that's okay. Vibes are high, feelings are high, everything is good, and it is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Antonio starting today off. Good morning, Chad. Antonio was first today. Antonio Miller, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself. Tara, good morning. Welcome back. Corey, good morning. Francis, good morning. EKS, great to see you as always, boss. Big Bees, good morning. Happy new week. Just waiting for the open. Let's get it. Big Bees. You're not just waiting for the open. I know you were enjoying football with me this week because you're in our fantasy league and we were talking about it. Big Bees, good morning. Welcome back. Ashan, welcome back. We are going to take a look at Octo, one of our big movers here today. We actually have a couple over 100% here today. So mover's going to be popping here later today. Azrar, good morning. Rooster, welcome back. Good to see you again. Zach McCracken, good morning. Zach, what on earth is going on with the drama at Monza? What did you think about that race? I need all of the opinions. I probably can't read them while we're going through this stuff here, but oh my God, you must have had a pretty good weekend as well. Producers locked in. Jim Ferrari is locked in. Jim, little bit pissed. You're whooping me in the fantasy league. But like I said, the main event comes tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Good morning, Jim. Welcome back. Chuck, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, I hope you like the interview I got lined up here this morning. I hope that you like it, boss. Bitcoin focused, and more specifically, Bitcoin Treasuries. Good to have you here. Welcome back. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning, Bills fans. Oh, that was a fun game, wasn't it? Cashed 2 parlays on that game, so we are loaded up for today. Good morning, Buffalo by Bicycle. Candace, good morning. Welcome back. Cad Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Jay Grant, good morning. Durkus, good morning. Billy, welcome back. ATL Russ is locked in. Good morning, Russ. Graf, welcome back. Just passing through. Good morning. Knights Lance and Cam, good morning. JJ Ryan, welcome back. ATL Russ says, nice shirt, Ryan. Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Russ. One of the brands of golf shirts that I buy. Made one for the Bears. We debuting it here today. 08 Roush Stage 3, good morning. Welcome back. Lauren Florida's back. Good morning. Chester, good morning. Get to the choppa. Good morning. Neville, good morning. Glass half full. Our glass is going to be half full all day, and our glass might runneth over too because we're having such a good day. Good morning and welcome back. Kamal, good morning. Benjamin, good morning. Patrick, good morning. This is your first time. I hope that you enjoy it. It looks like you're a Buffalo fan. We got multiple arms with muscles there because Josh Allen is so unbelievable. Lost Pennies, good morning. We're going to find you some pennies here today. You can bet on that. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Welcome back. AE, it's good to see us. Scott, Harley, and Lambo Rolls, welcome back. Zach says, Max's radio message summed it up. Yeah, I bet. Just laughter, right? Fastest lap ever in F1 history. There you go. You got your wish at Monza there this weekend. Billy, good morning. Hector, good morning. All right, folks, we are off. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stock market today. All right, we got green arrows here on this Monday for September 8th. S&P futures up about 0.2 here this morning, up by 0.18%. Dow futures up 0.1%, and the NASDAQ leads the way higher, up at 0.3 here today. Some cues from last session here. Energy, financial, and industrial stocks recorded the biggest losses on Friday, as most sectors in the S&P 500 closed on a negative note. However, real estate and communication services bucked the overall market trend and closed the session higher. U.S. stocks settled lower following a disappointing jobs report. Non-farm payrolls grew by a meager 22,000 in August after July's weak 79,000 and a June revision showing a loss of 13,000 jobs, the worst since 2020. The 3-month hiring pace has collapsed to 29,000, locking in expectations for a Fed rate cut in September, October, and December. AMB Industries reported mixed fiscal third quarter 2025 results. Shares of Lululemon dipped more than 18% after the company lowered full year 25 guidance and received multiple analyst downgrades following its earnings report. Shares of Guidewire Software, ticker GWRE, jumped 20% after the company reported fourth quarter results above analyst estimates. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned of potential consequences if the Supreme Court rules against the administration, despite expressing confidence over the Trump administration's appeal to the higher court. Quote, we would have to give a refund on about half of the tariffs, end quote, a situation Bessent describes as, quote, terrible for the Treasury, end quote. Bessent defended Trump's tariff policy despite possible setbacks, arguing that tariffs do not act as a tax on Americans and highlighting other signs of economic strength, pointing to the second quarter GDP growth and recent stock market performance. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.09%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.5%. All right, let's take a look at some insights. We're going to start here with Ed Yardeni and William Pisek. Hope I pronounced his name correctly. According to Ed and William from Yardeni Research, the upcoming week's inflation data is the final hurdle for a potential Federal Reserve cut. While they anticipate a slowdown in the producer's price index, they caution that both the PPI and the CPI could show persistent underlying price pressures. Following a weaker than expected employment report, Yardeni and Pisek state that the market's hope for a liquidity jolt from the Fed rate cut changes on reasonable tame figures for August's PPI and CPI. Those come on Wednesday and Thursday, respectively. However, they immediately warn that tame figures aren't a given. The August PPI scheduled for Wednesday is expected to be up 0.3 month on month following July's 9/10 jump. Yardeni and Pisek suggest that goods inflation likely increased because the cost of imported materials and parts are boosted by tariffs. CPI, they believe that Thursday's CPI report may show that underlying inflation pressures are enough to keep the pace for Fed's easing moves up for active debate. Citing the Cleveland Fed's inflation nowcasting model, they note expectations for year-over-year increase of 2.84% for headline CPI and 3.05% for the core CPI. Before the inflation reports, another significant event is the Bureau of Labor Statistics preliminary benchmark revision for the employment data on Tuesday. Yardeni and Pisek expect the revision to show that job growth between April of 2024 and March of 2025 was overstated by about 450,000 to 750,000. Such a revision would imply stronger productivity and confirm widespread expectations of a Fed cut on September 17th. That's only 11 days away from where we're at now. This could also cause the 10-year Treasury bond to fall below 4%. But they added a crucial caveat, quote, not if the PPI and CPI inflation rates run hotter than expected later this week. So that sets up for a pretty important data point that we're going to get midweek here. Yardeni and Pisek also pointed to other data releases that will inform the Fed's outlook. The initial jobless claims. They're expected the expected claims to remain low, hovering around 231,000, indicating that the rate of layoffs remains low. The NFIB survey, the small business survey from the National Federation of Independent Businesses, is seen as increasingly important. Yardeni and PSEC highlight conflicting signals in the July report, where both the optimism and uncertainty indexes rose. This, they argue, shows, quote, why the trajectory of the Fed's rate moves isn't as straightforward as markets believe, end quote. Meanwhile, Mohammed El-Arian said in a Substack post that the main interest this week would be the U.S. CPI inflation, especially after last week's weak job report and ahead of next week's Federal Reserve policy meeting. The consensus forecast anticipates somewhat greater tariff pass-through, maintaining the monthly core rate at 0.3. PPI inflation data will be released later this week. El-Arian added that, quote, well, on U.S. data, there will be more than usual interest in the periodic BLS payroll revisions. This one covers data from last March. Other interesting U.S. data releases this week include the jobless claims and the consumer sentiment. So again, we do have some pretty important prints here today. This week. We'll see how that actually affects where the market is. Now, real quickly, I know I didn't go to the chart yet, so we'll go there now. We'll take a look here at the SPY. This is basically where we're sitting here after putting in another all-time high on Friday. You can see we've actually backed off that high, but we are less than 1% from new all-time highs here. Key level for me is definitely going to be this 643.5. That's going to represent a 20-day moving average. And although we're rolling over from the highs here in the pre-market, if we trade down, I would imagine that this 643.5 would be a support level. The other interesting note is that if you look inside, this corresponds about to the low that we printed on Friday. So market, we were here, right? Market was really weak in the morning. It eventually held there, didn't really return to green, but held that 643.5. That's going to be your 20-day moving average for the SPY today. So we'll see if that ends up getting held with today's action. Now, some more news here. Robinhood. We'll actually start with the chart here on Robinhood. I know this has been a show favorite for us. Just great moves, a number of great moves, especially on this way up. Most recently, we've really kind of broken out of this channel. However, we've done a really good job holding the 50-day. Today, we're up by about 8% here in the pre-market on the back of the news that Robinhood shares are trading higher following Friday's news that it will be included in the S&P 500. This trading back up, really the key for me is going to be, can we get back into this channel? If so, maybe we can test the top end line of that. You know what I'll do is I'll actually extend this a little bit more, just in case we do make an extended upside move here today. We are above the 20, so that's great, but we are likely going to find some resistance here. And if I eyeball that, that's going to be about 112. So we're at 109.5 here. We'll see if 112 provides any resistance or if we can get back into this channel. Now, if we take a look at the news here, S&P Dow Jones Indices announced a sweeping update to its benchmark late Friday, unveiling new additions to the S&P 100, 500, S&P Midcap 400, and the S&P Small Cap 600. The adjustments tied to a quarterly rebalance will take place before the markets open on September 22nd. The reshuffle is designed to ensure that each index more accurately reflects its market cap range. So the S&P 500 additions are as follows. 3 companies are joining the S&P 500. Another show favorite here, App, ticker APP, AppLovin, in addition to Robinhood, ticker HOOD, and also MCore Group, ticker EMB. They will replace Market Access Holdings, ticker MKTX, Caesars Entertainment, ticker CZR, and Enphase Energy, the solar company, ticker ENPH, which will be moved to smaller cap indexes. Robinhood's addition to the S&P 500 represents a pivotal moment for the brokerage, that's from Bloomberg. Of all of the firms, the trading app, once seen as emblematic of pandemic-fueled speculation, has matured into a mainstream financial player. It now manages billions in assets spanning stocks, options, and cryptocurrencies. The milestone underscores its role as a lasting force in retail investor participation. Now, according to Benzinga Pro, Hood stock has gained over 434% in the past year. Investors can gain exposure to the stock via the ETF Opportunities Trust T-Rex 2X Long Hood Daily Target ETF. That's a mouthful. Ticker there, ROBN. So if you're looking for one of the ETFs to just kind of trade this move in a levered fashion, ROBN probably the way to go there. The impact goes well beyond Robinhood itself. Inclusion into the S&P 500 automatically places the company into index funds, pensions, and retirements account globally. That's why we're seeing a positive move in those stocks here today. As far as the S&P 100 change, Uber will join the S&P 100, replacing Charter Communications. That's ticker CHTR. Charter will remain a component of the S&P 500. Now, your mid-cap 400 and small-cap 600 updates, several shifts occurred during mid- and small-cap indexes. Ticker MP Materials, which has also been on a really huge run here this year for us, and Kratos Defense Security Solutions, KTOS, that's another defense play that we actually made for a pretty good trade earlier this year. They move into the S&P mid-cap 400, while Wendy's, ticker WEN, Market Access, Caesars, and Enphase will transition to the S&P small-cap 600. Additionally, Nutanix, ticker NT, NX, and TransUnion, ticker TRU, are joining the midcap 400, while Acadia Healthcare Company, ticker ACHC, and Manpower Group, ticker MAN, shift to the small cap 600. Other notable small cap 600 errands include Noble Corporation, that's ticker NB, Q2 Holdings, ticker QTWO, Waystar Holdings, ticker WAY, and Helka Mining, ticker HL. Index shuffling often sparks significant stock moves as fund managers tracking these benchmarks adjust their portfolios. Companies added to the S&P 500 in particular frequently see higher demand because of the large pool of passive investors to the index. So the big thing here for me, who does this make you more bullish on Hood? I know there was kind of a lot of bullish feelings already on Hood. We've seen the real huge move here. They seem to be in the news for everything positive trading, whether it's stocks, crypto, or otherwise. Does this make you more bullish? Do we think there's maybe another push to all-time highs coming here in Robinhood, or are we still kind of waiting out a potential pullback to a support level? It'll be very interesting to see how some of these stocks close here today. You know, one of the other stocks that we really didn't take a look at when mentioned here is going to be App. And congrats, frankly. We're going to start off with some register rings here today. Congrats to everybody that traded App recently. Yassine here says, I sold it on Thursday, shaking my head. Yassine, still pretty good trade here. I mean, if you're looking from the April 7th, the Liberation Day lows, this stock is more than a double already. Missing this last 9%, probably much ado about nothing, given how the rest of that trade ended up working. Now, what we see here, Apps 536.96. So this actually looks like a clean break to new highs here. We'll see how this ends up finishing here today. App holding higher by 9.5%. Day trader here have been bullish and holding Hood. I think we see the next leg up. If I don't have a position here, day trader, but if I had to bet, I would agree with you. I think we made this high right up here about 118. We pulled back. We tested the 50. We held the 50. Now we get some more positive news that's going to include more buying of this asset. To me, I wouldn't be shocked if we have a 120 test coming here in Hood pretty soon. I don't know that I necessarily want to chase a 9% pop here today. It's one of the reasons why I'm really curious to see how this thing closes here. Does this strength that we're seeing early get sold? If not, we might have a trade on our hands here. Okay, let's actually take a look at Tesla. We'll go ahead and start with the chart since we're already at the charts here today. Here's what our Tesla chart looks like. This has also been wild. We've really, over the last month, I would say, there's been a lot of back and forth here on Tesla, a lot of back and forth news as well. But really, when we take a look at the chart, what we've really been focused on is this 350 to 360 resistance area. We're right in the middle of that now. It looks like we are going to test the upper boundary of this area. Tesla up by just shy of 1% here today, 354 in the pre-market. I do have the high above this at about 366-ish. Realistically, this 350 to 360 range has been ample resistance since the end of May, really. Beginning of June. We'll see if we have enough strength to take that out here. Be curious to know how any of you are looking at Tesla, given that. Now let's take a look at the news that we have on Tesla. Tesla has quietly changed the meaning of full self-driving. This follows Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package announcement. Boy, I wish I had $1 trillion pay package coming. That'd be sick. Tesla has quietly changed the fine print associated with its full self-driving technology following the announcement of CEO Elon Musk's compensation package. Tesla has revised the description for the full self-driving package it offers to customers when ordering a vehicle on the company's official website. This is as of Sunday, which now says that the full self-driving system does not make the vehicle autonomous. Quote, currently enabled features require active driver supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous, end quote. That's from the description itself, adding that the availability of the features depends on regulatory approval as well as the development of the technology, which may take longer in some jurisdictions. Here's what the screenshot actually looks like. I'll tell you what, my thoughts on this still the same. This is an $8,000 option that to me is not appealing at all. I'm a driver. I like driving. I want to be in control. Last thing I want to do is give it to a computer. But I do understand the bull case here, and I do understand that this is a kind of a big thing that is going on and does not look like it's going to resolve anytime soon. Elon Musk's ambitious targets laid out in the new pay package. The following change follows Tesla unveiling a new pay package for Musk, which we discussed last week, which comes after a previously revealed $29 billion pay package that could see him gain over $1 trillion in stock options, provided he can meet ambitious targets laid out by the board of directors, like helping the EV giant reach an $8.5 trillion market cap. $8.5 trillion market cap. Folks, let that sink in right now. NVIDIA, which is our current leader, is at $4 trillion. $4 trillion. So Tesla's market cap has to double has to be double what NVIDIA's market cap is today. Tesla, by comparison, today coming into this morning, their market cap $1.13 trillion. Tesla needs to 8x from where it is on a market cap basis in order to hit this. Interestingly, one of the milestones or conditions for the pay package also includes 10 million active full self-driving subscriptions for Tesla and 1 million Tesla robo-taxis on the road. The pay package also outlined what full self-driving means. Quote, full self-driving means an advanced driving system, regardless of the marketing name used, that is capable of performing transportation tasks that provide autonomous or similar functionality under specified driving conditions. That is from the SEC filing. So it looks like they're trying to be very tight on this. It actually does need to be full self-driving. It means it doesn't need to rely on the driver in any way. Tesla is also facing another lawsuit filed by investors who have expressed concerns over the system's effectiveness and safety following incidents of possible traffic violations during June's robo-taxi launch event in Texas. Tesla also expanded its robo-taxi. Meanwhile, Tesla has expanded its robo-taxi operations in Austin, which now drives on the highway under the presence of an onboard safety operator in the driver's seat. Tesla is also offering ride-hailing services in California as the company officially rolled out its robo-taxi app on Apple, which has since been among the most downloaded applications on the platform. So here we go. My thoughts remain unchanged on Tesla and full self-driving. To me, it's not the appealing thing, but at the end of the day, now you're incentivizing Elon Musk to actually go after this. This is, make no mistake, this is the type of thing that motivates Elon Musk. I actually wouldn't be shocked if he's able to get this done. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done before that's the case. Eric here says, try the full self-driving before you say it's useless. What I'm saying is that it's useless to me because I want to drive. I actually already recognize how it can be useful for others. And I've seen, while I haven't tried it myself, full disclosure, I have actually seen a lot of videos here. I think this technology eventually is going to work. I just don't think it's going to be a feature that I go after. One of the other things that I've said is something like my mother, who's aging here. She's still very independent, wants to get around, wants to do things. Full self-driving seems to be a pretty good solution for her if we're actually able to get that out. Fair point here, though. Don't knock it until you try it. I'm just saying that for me personally, not my favorite thing, not something that I would pay extra for if I was shopping for a new vehicle. That's for sure. Let's take a look at Tesla here. You can see we actually did have a little bit of a pull on some pretty good volume here in the pre-market. That basically pulled us down to 350, which so far here has held. That's a good sign here in the pre-market. We'll see if Tesla ends up providing a trade for us here today. Okay, let's go. Next news story here. Jeff Bezos-backed Anthropic valuation soars to $183 billion after a $13 billion funding round. AI is still one of the huge topics here. Anthropic has witnessed a significant surge in its valuation. The company's worth has more than doubled, now standing at $183 billion post-money, following a $13 billion fundraiser. The valuation comes on the heels of a $13 billion fundraise, co-led by Fidelity Management and Research and Lightspeed Venture Partners, Anthropic revealed on Tuesday. Other major investors include the Qatar Investment Authority, Blackstone, and Coatue. That is reported by Reuters. Good morning, Lion. It's great to see you here this morning. Supported by Alphabet and Jeff Bezos's Amazon, Anthropic will use new funding to address rising enterprise demand, expanding its international presence. The latest valuation marks an increase from March's $61.5 billion post-money valuation, where the company raised $3.5 billion. It also plans to use the funding to deepen safety research while advancing AI systems that are reliable, interpretable, and steerable. Anthropic has gained recognition for its AI models adept at coding. The company's run rate revenue rose from approximately $1 billion at the start of 2025 to over $5 billion in August. The startup behind the Claude large language models, introduced Opus 4.1 in August, an upgrade to Opus 4 that enhances performance and agentic tasks, real-world coding, and reasoning. Anthropic unveiled breakthrough research on using persona vectors to track and manage AI personality traits, introducing a counterintuitive vaccination approach that deliberately injects harmful behaviors during training to prevent risky personality shifts once models are deployed. Earlier this year, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei faced criticism for accepting funds from the Middle Eastern states despite ethical concerns. Amodei has defended the decision, arguing that staying competitive in the global AI race requires access to substantial capital, even if it empowers authoritarian regimes. The latest valuation surge underscores an ongoing investor enthusiasm for AI startups, despite some reservations about the tech industry spending. Anthropic's remarkable growth also reflects the broader trend of surging AI investments, which have been a key driver of the 75.6% increase in U.S. startup funding for the first half of 2025. That's per PitchBook's July data, as reported by Reuters. So, we see it all the time. AI still really kind of leading the market higher. It looks like there's no signs of chilling out, and that is likely going to be responsible for the next leg up in this market if we end up getting that. All right, next story here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple. Actually, before we jump into the story, let's actually check the Apple chart, because this is on the back of another great trade here. We did break out. So initially, the 215 breakout, which was awesome, went right to the 200 like we expected. Then we traded from the 200 to the 233. Then we broke that. Now we've actually found some resistance right up here, about 242-ish. Be interesting to see if we get above this here today. Apple about unchanged here. just shy of 240. I would be entirely unsurprised if Apple actually made a move higher here, especially if the broader market holds together. Next spot higher, really 250 seems to be in deck or on deck, for Apple. We'll see if we do have enough strength to move to that high. After that, we've got about 260, and that should be the all-time high here for Apple. So the chart actually looks pretty good. We've had some pretty good trades on this recently, and we have some pretty good momentum right now. Here we go. Dip buyer saying Apple is on pace to sell more than $2 trillion worth of iPhones in the 2020s. So we'll see what happens there. Remember, I understand this next article here might rub some rub some people the wrong way. I know we always talk about Apple's innovation or lack thereof, frankly. That's what the next story is about. Let's take a look at that. Apple's upcoming awe-dropping event with the iPhone 17 Air draws criticism as commentator Daniel Newman slams the lack of innovation. As Apple gears up for its highly anticipated iPhone 17 launch, industry analyst Daniel Newman has criticized the company for relying on predictable upgrades rather than delivering innovation. Stop me if you've heard this before. Our entire group has been on this for a while now. On Sunday, Newman, the CEO of Futurum Group, took to X to vent his frustration with Apple ahead of the company's September 9th event. Now, again, that event tomorrow. Quote, the next big Apple event, which will be to launch the new iPhone 17 Air, I'm no longer surprised by Apple's lack of innovation and ingenuity. But come on, for crying out loud. You're better than this, Apple. Doesn't look like he's a fan of the iPhone 17 Air. How about that? His remarks come just days before Apple's awe-dropping keynote at the Steve Jobs Theater in Cupertino, California. The event, which will be live streamed on apple.com and through the Apple TV app, marks the company's first major showcase since June Worldwide Developer Conference. Now, I think that there were some mixed reactions on this Worldwide Developers Conference when we did this last time. I'll be honest, like some of the things they showed, I thought they were pretty cool, but I get it. You know, it didn't really have that big punch, that big one more thing that really kind of got everybody excited. I even asked several of you folks that were maybe beta testing some of the new features how it was. That all got pretty good reports too. Looks like that they're really just kind of waiting for something a little bit bigger than that. Apple is expected to unveil multiple versions of its iPhone 17, including what could be the slimmest model yet, the iPhone 17 Air. Reports suggest that the Air will replace the iPhone Plus model following a broader industry trend towards thinner designs. Other updates may include new colors such as purple and green. Who's ready to buy a new phone because of the color? Enhanced cameras and incremental design improvements. Pricing is expected to start at $800 for the base model. So let me know if this is disappointing for you. Does this change how you would look at Apple as an investment or a trade? For me, for someone that's been invested in this for a long time, this has been one of the biggest winning trades. There's a no change here for me, but I understand if you think that this is not great news for a new trade. All right, folks, it is about 8:33 here, and I promised you a brand new guest, something really exciting for us to sink our teeth into. Let's wait no longer for that. Tim Kotzman, how you doing here this morning?
I'm very well. How are you, sir?
I'm very, very good. Look, first of all, I can't thank you enough for coming here. Tim Kotzman, organizer of the Bitcoin Treasuries Unconference. Did I get that right?
You got it right. You can call it whatever you want. Just don't call it a conference.
Okay, we will not call it a conference. It'll be the Unconference. Tim, it's great to have you here. Look, you are here with a group of active traders every single day. We show up and we try to make sense of all of the different news that's going out there. Well, it's a big news about a company like Apple, or whether it's news about companies that are adding Bitcoin to their treasury strategy. And I'm hoping that I can ask you some questions about that here. Can we start by talking about the conference? Can you tell me a little bit about yourself to start us off?
Sure. Unbelievably, less than a year ago, I started the Bitcoin Treasuries podcast to try to platform in one place everything that's going on with the corporate adoption story. That turned into a digital conference that was maybe 14 hours long, and then a 21-hour digital conference where we interviewed 42 people back to back to back to back. We don't have time for all the backs. And and now Ed, Juline, and I are organizing the Unconference. It'll be our first in-person conference. It'll be kicked off with a keynote from Michael Saylor, and then instead of just kind of boring panels where everyone's falling asleep and just drinking as much coffee as they can, we'll still have coffee, but it'll be more of a town hall Q&A, very interactive format, and we're excited to bring that to New York next Wednesday, September 17th. Doors open at 8 a.m.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Let's actually bring Ed on here. Ed, good morning. How are you doing here today?
Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, fighting with the computer on a Monday morning seems to be a ritual, huh?
Yeah, that's par for the course around these parts. We deal with technology issues on a regular basis here, but I just want to give you an opportunity as well. I just had Tim telling us a little bit about the conference. Can you tell us a little bit more about the conference, providing your camera and microphone?
Yeah, providing my camera comes back. Anyway, you can hear me, right?
You can hear you fine. It's like you're in the room with me.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, I got to go back over here to this camera. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So everything Tim said. No, just kidding. Yeah, I was fortunate after a 25-year career in manufacturing to fail miserably at entrepreneurship, which put me in a place where it was like, well, what do I want to do? I don't want to go back manufacturing. That hurts my stomach. And a job with the Bitcoin conference fell out of the sky. And, that event with 30, 40,000 people is just, it's not only an amazing experience, but you get to see how the biggest and best conference in the world is run in the Bitcoin space, right? My job there was enterprise, so I was supposed to bring in, the big banks, the big corporations to say, hey, this is what where the future is, and they weren't ready. They were all saying like, no, the Bitcoin brand is toxic. We can't do that. I had an opportunity to go to Mara to work on a sidechain project that was really exciting, and L2 did that. But then Strategy called and said, hey, we want you to run our conference. Fantastic. The Bitcoin for Corporations conference put on by Strategy, very focused on Saylor and his message and what Strategy is doing. So I had an opportunity to join a Bitcoin treasury company in Mexico. I lived in Mexico 13 years, fluent Spanish. And I couldn't do that while working at Strategy. So I called Tim. I said, hey, what are you up to? He goes, thank God you're available, because I decided to run a conference 6 weeks from now and I need help. So I decided to join Tim on this adventure that we've got with 9 days left. And we had both attended a conference. Did you already tell him about Santa Monica? Okay. So we both attended this conference out in Santa Monica last year, put on by Fred Krueger, called an Unconference, where there was sofa sets, and the only agenda was topics, and there would be a thought leader that would start the conversation. And then people would talk about that topic for an hour, and they'd go, okay, next. And then people would either change sofa sets or stay in that same sofa set, and a new thought leader. And I thought it was going to be a train wreck. I'm like, this won't work. How are you going to do this? People go crazy. But it was mostly people with gray hair and people that had invested for a while, and it went really well. So we decided to create our conference in that same vision of how do we not keep tiring people with presentations and panels, right? Because they're getting old, right? It's the same three people up there agreeing with each other, or it's a presentation that just doesn't seem like there was any work that went into it. So what you're going to get through our conference is a town hall type discussion. As I heard Tim, as I joined, it's going to be a situation where we've got people on stage that are thought leaders. We're going to have a topic such as proof of reserves. We'll have a topic such as, does the underlying business matter? You can find the agenda on our website. You can find it all over X. And then people will be able to interact through questions, comments, whatever, with those thought leaders on stage.
Okay, first of all, this is
a long answer. Sorry, but
no, it's totally fine, and it's a great long answer. You actually took a couple of the questions that I was going to ask you and answered them without me even having to ask them. A lot of the questions that you just mentioned, these are questions that our group of traders and investors have. Does it matter what the underlying business is? What does all this mean? So it sounds like your Unconference, I won't call it a conference, sounds like your Unconference is actually set to address those things. Really, really exciting. Let me ask ask you, can anyone attend this, or is it just for invited individuals?
Go ahead, Tim.
If you can buy a ticket, you can walk through the front door.
So it's basically open to anybody. As long as they want to buy a ticket and go, it's open to them.
Yeah,
It's open to anybody
Media.
that got in on the first 350, because the fire marshal will shut us down after 350, and I think we're currently at like 315. So there's not a lot of tickets left with 8 days left.
Okay. Awesome. Be sure to check that out. We'll go ahead and throw the link here in the chat for that. Let's talk about the Bitcoin and the treasury companies themselves. I think that's what everyone's waiting for. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin and altcoin treasury strategies? When I say altcoin, I mean things like Ethereum or Solana.
Yeah, I think it comes back to this idea of the pristine asset. You know, in the crypto world, we keep on coming up with these catchphrases, these little cliches, and some of them stick, some of them don't. And that pristine asset one seems to have stuck for quite a while now. And Bitcoin being a pristine asset, and it's really difficult sometimes to get your head around Ethereum or Solana or Fartcoin being pristine assets. And will Ethereum be around for a while? Will Solana be around for a while? Sure. Yeah, they're not going anywhere, right? But I could go back and look at the list of the top 10 on CoinMarketCap just a couple of years ago, and a few of them are gone. And so you just kind of wonder, you know, what could change? Is somebody going to come up with a better Solana or whatever? Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a better Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be around forever. Great. But if you're betting your company's future on what I call a crypto company rather than a crypto asset, I think you're putting your company at some kind of existential risk. Much higher returns, probably, much more upside, but definitely risk.
Interesting. So Bitcoin, the safer play there. Tim, how do you see the future for Bitcoin treasuries?
I think we're at this inflection point where you just see this march of adoption, right, from retail to corporate and institutional to nation state, where Bitcoin becomes this global store of value. Some don't currently see it that way because of the volatility. But I have conversations every day with people that want to understand it, people that are in high school or college, people that are retirees, and they have open minds. They want to know what's going on with this technology. They own gold, and they want, even if it's not right for them as a retiree in their eyes, they want to understand it. So I just keep quoting Lynn Alden, nothing stops this train.
Okay, it sounds good. Michael Saylor has been the leader for Bitcoin. Do you think that he's been early? Do you think we're still kind of in the early phase here for Bitcoin? How do you place that when you start thinking about timelines?
I don't know if I struggle with that. The leader for Bitcoin, but you're saying, I guess, on the Bitcoin treasury side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Michael Saylor, when people say his name, he is viewed as a Bitcoin leader just in general, more specifically the treasury side.
Yeah, no, I've tried to do this. I've tried to have ChatGPT help me with this. There really aren't a lot of other industries where somebody has such a huge, massive lead. I mean, there was a point at which Google had that, but, you know, it kind of fixed itself. In this case, it's literally impossible for anybody else to catch them. I mean, even if Apple said, we're going to take our trillions of dollars in cash and start, you know, smash buying Bitcoin, the price is going to go up so fast and so hard, they still won't catch them. So it's an interesting dilemma of, does this matter, or did they just get the head start? Good for them. Unclear. You know, the only analogy that I found similar was in the U.S. military, where the U.S. military is so much bigger, so much better, that it gives them this power. And it's like, well, is Strategy eventually going to be the biggest company in the world, number one on Dow and S&P and everything? And what power does that give them? You don't find Bitcoiners thinking too far into the future sometimes. looking at the current price and maybe a year in the future, but there aren't a lot of thinkers apart from maybe Jeff Booth or Kristen Ragusan who are thinking, what is this going to look like in 30, 40 years? And I don't know if you can. It's very, very challenging. So do they have a leg up, an advantage? Absolutely. What does it mean? No clue.
Okay, that's fair enough. Look, would you advise companies buy Bitcoin or maybe another coin and add it to their treasury as a strategy? Is this something that you'd like to see proliferate, or does it only make sense in certain applications?
Tim?
we've already seen Polkadot and other coins come out and publicly state that they're going to put Bitcoin in their treasury. I think you'll see that continue and accelerate as they realize, hey, this is the pristine collateral. Everything else is a venture project, and it may or may not have value in the short, medium, and long term. I think when you look at BitcoinTreasuries.net, which is different from BitcoinTreasuries.media, where you can get your ticket for September 17th, you look at 180 some companies and you'll see people quoting that number, but there's only a few dozen actual strategy type leverage Bitcoin equities. So I think that will continue and proliferate, but I think every company, whether it's 10 basis points or 10% or can really benefit from having Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And I think as the volatility potentially continues to decelerate, that you'll see the adoption accelerate.
Okay. All right. And then this is probably the biggest question for our group here, specifically for our group. What are the biggest tips or pieces of advice that you can give active traders or investors when they're looking at companies that are adding Bitcoin or some other type of crypto to the treasury? And then I have one follow-up here from the audience about a specific company, if you guys can answer that.
I thought you were going to ask, do the Bears have a chance at the Super Bowl? But
Look, I'm saving up for that. They've got to keep the important questions till the end here. So we'll get that in here at the end.
I've been saying this on podcasts and different forums lately that, Jack Dorsey, about a year and a half ago, maybe, he said, we don't need freedom of speech. We've already got that. What we need is freedom of algorithm. And whenever somebody asks me, what do you think? What is this one going to do? I just say, well, what is your algorithm telling you? I've come to the point where I just don't trust my algorithm because, my algorithm told me the day before, said Travis and Taylor are breaking up. And I said, oh, well, that's not news. And then the next day they're engaged, and it's like, yeah, you just can't really trust your algorithm. You have to question it all the time. And so that's the piece of advice is find your sources, figure out what you can trust, ask other people what their algorithm's telling them. I have a whale friend who got in super early, sitting on a massive stack, but he's kind of an Ethereum guy. And I'm a Bitcoin guy. And then he sends me an Ethereum article. I'm like, where did you get this? And then I'll send him a Bitcoin article. He's like, where did you get this? And everybody has their, what's it called? Thesis. And Jeff Walton, or I think it was Jeff, maybe it was Ben, put something on X just yesterday saying, figure out your thesis and stick to it. And your thesis is going to be different than others, and nobody is right yet. So you've got to be able to sleep at night. And if you can sleep with your thesis and where to invest, and you're putting in the time to check your algorithm and make sure that it's giving you the right information, it's about the best you can do right now.
Okay, so due diligence, maybe tune up that algorithm. Tim, how about you? Any pieces of advice or tips for active traders and investors?
I'd say walk before you run. I mean, to understand, like, what is a pipe? What happens when those shares unlock? How do these actual mechanisms work? I mean, I was on the phone yesterday with a very good friend, and he said, I love MicroStrategy, but I'm just going to focus on stacking my own coin for now. I'm just like, he's very, very active and passionate and enthusiastic. And he's like, with all these preferred products, he's like, it's just over most people's heads. Like, he's like, I see the vision, I see Saylor's vision, but it's something that, like, for most people, this is like, whoo. And so, even on X, you see people posting, like, just trying to figure out how many actual shares are on the market. So unless you're going to do a deep dive, I do not recommend YOLOing into most of these things.
Yeah, no, I you're saying that this goes over a lot of people's heads. Look, I'm one of those people too. I mean, I'm someone that's bullish on Bitcoin. I think this is here to stay. I actually really like what I'm seeing here. Every time I see Michael Saylor talk, I think this is easily the smartest guy in the room. This is someone that I want to follow as well. But some of this stuff, it just kind of goes right over my head, and it's tough for the individual investor to discern, hey, is this company actually doing the right thing? Is this going to be worth anything down the road? And that actually brings me to my final question here. So this comes from a viewer here. We would not be able to have a show without our viewers, so I think it's important to be able to allow them to ask questions. He wants to say, what does Tim and Ed think of ticker BMNR, Bitmine Immersion? This is one of the... Go ahead.
I just saw that and looked it up. I'm not familiar with that. Bitmine is a pioneering digital asset platform dedicated to maximizing ETH per share and advancing the Ethereum ecosystem. Look, I made a lot of money on Ethereum back in the day, and then I kind of started figuring out how Bitcoin's different, and I became what I call a Bitcoin inclusionist, not a Bitcoin maximalist, and said, you know, if you're not doing it on Bitcoin, well then either figure out how to do it on Bitcoin or let's work with Ethereum. I go to ETH Denver, you know, because it's cutting edge technology. There's people doing amazing, fantastic things. But I can't say that I'm an expert specifically on Bitmine immersion, but with the probably millions of people that are holding Ethereum and the tens of thousands that are working on it, there's some fantastic stuff going over there. So I'm not going to pretend that it's not good stuff. It's just I'm specifically got my bandwidth and my algorithm fine-tuned to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think the reason that this one's getting brought up, Tom Lee is the chairman over at this company. I believe Tom Lee was actually on CNBC this morning saying that he could see Bitcoin doubling from here by Christmas. So he makes a lot of news in the Bitcoin world, and that's one of the reasons that this stock is highly followed. Tim, any thoughts on that?
The question to ask, Ryan, is because I've met Tom Lee, right? I just saw him in New York about a month ago. His algorithm is different than mine. When I talk to Tom Lee, I'm just like, where are you getting your information? Because I'm saying one thing, he's saying another thing, and it's like, are we both right? Are we both wrong? Or is it two different planets? And these are good questions we need to be asking, and people like you are out there peeling back the layers of the onion.
Does your algorithm also think Bitcoin can go to 1 million or 2 million, or is that just a Tom Lee thing?
Bitcoin will not go to 1 million. Bitcoin will be the same. It's a linear path to how many Bitcoin are produced. The dollar is melting. The dollar is fading away. You just have to go to Buenos Aires or Caracas or Zimbabwe, and it's people there get it. I mean, when Bitcoin hit 100 million pesos, Argentinian pesos per Bitcoin, I said, hey, 1 Satoshi equals 1 peso. And it wasn't 2 months before it was 120 million. And those people get it, right? I always say this, what part of the problem for the adoption of Bitcoin has been that it's really hard to go to Wall Street and say that the sky's falling, because it is not, man. They are eating really good steaks and have nice cars and houses in the Hamptons. So trying to convince them that the sky is falling is tough. Will the dollar have a massive collapse? No. Will things fall apart in the US? No. So it's all your perspective. And will the dollar continue to depreciate so that one day a Bitcoin value is valued at $1 million per Bitcoin? It's inevitable. It's like gravity. It's going to happen. It'll be a Tuesday.
Okay. We'll keep our calendars marked for that. Tim, any thoughts on BMNR or any closing thoughts here from our discussion?
I don't follow it, so I can't speak to it. But if volatility is vitality, when you're speaking about a Bitcoin treasury company, you can just enlarge that, and you're just further out on the risk curve. And that's about the extent of my intelligence on that.
Okay. Ed, Tim, any predictions for the game tonight? Let's start there.
Yeah, I live in Atlanta, so just doxed myself, but saw the Falcons yesterday, and it's like, okay, good. My Sundays are free the rest of the year. I don't have to worry about it. You know, I don't know why I have a soft spot in my heart for the Bears. It's probably just from the old SNL days that you want to love them.
Super fans, absolutely.
Yeah, but God, it's between the Bears and the Cubs, it's just like, you get to this point where you're like, yeah, well, we're going to lose anyway. So then you get so pleasantly surprised when they win big, right? But one other comment I'll throw in, I have created a coupon code Benzinga. So if you go to Bitcoin Treasuries.media, if you're thinking about coming, you need to be in this room. So coupon code Benzinga at checkout gives you 21% off.
Okay, absolutely amazing. Tim Kotzman, Ed Juline, did I pronounce it right? Juline?
That's fine.
Juline. Okay, sorry about that. Organizers of the Bitcoin Treasuries Unconference. We won't call it a conference. Bitcoin Treasuries New York City Unconference with Michael Saylor. We did put the link in the chat there. Thank you for creating a coupon code for us as well. I suspect that we're going to check in with you again. Good luck with your conference, and we'll follow up with you next time, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
That is Tim and Ed. Folks, I know we've been on top of these Bitcoin treasury companies. We've been trying to make as much sense of them as we can. Sounds like we're not the only ones. Really good stuff here from our guests. If you're interested in that, please check it out. Big thanks to Ed and Tim. And, you know, I kind of asked for an answer there. Sounded to me like Ed said he thought the Bears were going to win. So I'm just going to go with that and make my Monday morning awesome here. We'll keep that going on. Again, special thanks to Tim and Ed. Now, their departure leaves room for 13. Let's check in how 13 is doing. 13, I know you got to be doing good after that weekend, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing good.
I bet you are. You want to start off with any comment on your Packers game? I'll tell you what, the guy that they just traded for, he looked pretty good.
Michael Parsons, yeah, he's having an immediate effect on the team, it seems.
Yes.
Sending Goff scrambling around, running around. And, you know, our offense wasn't looking too bad either on the ground and in the air. Did all right. You know, could have done better, but did all right. So I think we're off to a good start. I think our defense is only going to get better as he develops with the team. So very happy with that outcome. I'm looking forward to the game today. You're probably going to ask me later, who's going to win it today? Is it going to be the Bears or the Vikings? I'll just tell you right now. The Vikings picked up Favre back in the day, so they can go to hell. Bears all the way.
All right. I did not have that on my bingo card here this morning, but I will take it. Absolutely. Okay. Jim, yes, I did hit 2 parlays that I placed on that Bills game. What a game. And we are flush with betting money for today. Okay. 13, thanks for indulging me there. Go Bears. This is going to be an amazing day. Let's dive into the market. Do we want to...
I need performance from both teams tonight, but I'll go with the Bears today.
Okay, that works for me. Do we want to start with some of the movers here? We got some that are really popping here this morning.
Yeah, we do. We have multiple 100% runners.
Where's Smoke Tuna? Where is he?
Where is he? The signal's in the sky. Where is he? There he is.
All right, there he is. Smoke Tuna, the signal has been answered, and he's starting out here with Octo. So guess what, 13? That's what we're going to start with too.
Right.
Here's a look at your Octo chart. This stock was about $1.50 on Friday. Yep. That's not a misprint there. We actually traded above $17.50 here today. This is now up 1,000%, folks. 1,000%. And look, it's almost as if this news was kind of timely, huh? Aitco holding shares are trading higher. The company announced a $250 million private placement with an additional $20 million of strategic investment from Bitmine to launch a WorldCoin treasury strategy. Oh my goodness. Look at this thing, pal. We just talked to Ed and Tim regarding their Treasury Unconference. Look what Octo's doing here. It's almost as if the stars have aligned for us. Really quick look around the horn on this one. 1.9% of the float shorted here with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of just over 1 million shares. Float on this name, 2.8 million. What do you think here? Ticker OCTO.
Yeah, so $100 million private placement really does boost their cash reserve in a very meaningful way. And $20 million, I don't know if it's of that or additional. I think it says additional here. It's coming from BMNR, so they can make initiate the world's first WorldCoin treasury strategy. So $250 million in private placement. This company didn't have a whole lot of cash to begin with, and with this small share structure, if you do some napkin math, I would put their stock price at somewhere between $89 to $90 if we're just considering the cash. So I don't know that we're going to go that high. I think today maybe we do go that high, but I don't know about today. But today we could see somewhere in upwards of 20 to 22. Those are going to be the levels I'm looking for here. I don't have a lot of levels to go off of, but 20 did stand out when I looked way to the left. And that's also a weekly EMA down in that area there. So I think 2022 potentially what we're going to end up seeing here with Octo today. Could it go up to 89 to 90? maybe later this week. I don't know. We've seen these Treasury strategy names run before, but we also have to be careful with them. No promises, just looking for 20 to 22 today.
Yeah, okay, really good stuff there. And day trader, we just talked to Ed and Tim, and one of the things that they kind of stressed was, hey, do your due diligence. Your own algorithm is going to tell you whether or not these are good or not. Day trader out here helping us out. Octo is a spinoff from that junk company BBIG from the 2021 meme stock frenzy. BBIG went to zero or went to nothing. Looks like Octo wins. WLD coin is interesting, whereas they're trying to set up a system that helps humans prove they're human. So it looks like some type of ID factor there with AI. Proving you're human will be a necessity. Dan Ives was actually on CNBC talking about this morning. So this is also pretty timely here. Octo, ticker OCTO, currently holding higher by 1,000%. Zach here saying, even if it goes up another 1,000%, I'm not getting in this. So look, there's no universe in which I would ever recommend anybody buy a stock after it's up 1,000%. So just do with it as you will. Be careful on names like this. We'll see if it gives us a trading setup. But yowza, what a move here today. Yeah,
this is an announcement. I don't see anything that indicates they've closed this either. So the money is not in the bank as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So there we go. And good morning, 3D. It's great to see you here. Oh my God, click on the right one, Ryan. Good morning, 3D. It's great to see you. Really appreciate you. Folks, if we could please smash up the like, help us exploit this algorithm here, trying to give you new guests, new interviews, trying to give you inside information or insight, I should say, on all of the happenings here with the market. Please smash up the like for our interviews and for 13. And if you're a Bears fan, you can do that as well. Thank you, 3D. Please hit that like button for us. Okay, that takes care of the first mover here, but we've got another 100% mover. Actually, we have a couple. We'll go to this one here. This is RAP. Ticker RAPP. Report Therapeutics. Shares are trading higher after the company announced a phase 2A clinical trial of RAP-219 in patients with drug-resistant focal onset seizures met its primary endpoint. So getting some pretty good data here from a phase 2A clinical trial that took this stock from 14.5 on Friday. We hit a high of $47 here today. Stocks holding higher here by 197%. Let's take a look at the short interest here. This might be playing into it. 20.11% of the float shorted and 18 and a half days to cover. That days to cover comes on 180,000 shares of average daily volume. That's not really a lot. Today, we've traded 4.6 million. Float on this is 15 million. What do you think, 13? Do you think we see some more squeeze action here from RAP?
I certainly think it's possible, especially with how many days to cover you have. And this is, this drug that they're talking about here, RAP-219. This is in, multiple programs right now. This is just the furthest one that's along. They're completing their phase 2A. So I don't know that they're necessarily moving into phase 3 yet. The phase 2A implies there's some other additional testing before they want to move on. But this is also going to be going in the trial right now for phase 2, probably phase 2B for bipolar mania. And then they also have another one that they're going to be going into phase 2. Don't have a timeline, but they're going to be wrapping up phase 1 pretty soon. That's for diabetic peripheral neuropathic health or pain. And then finally, there's one that's same drug, but still in a clinical discovery phase. That's the long-acting injectable. So this is going to be going through clinical trials for some time. Fortunately, the company does have a lot of cash. They have enough cash on hand for 2 quarters, but their short-term investments, which they could turn into cash, that's pretty substantial. They have about a quarter of a billion, not 205 million. So they've got a good cash runway for at least a year before they'd have to do some kind of capital raise.
Okay, cool. So that's interesting. Doesn't look like one is needed here. We'll see how this trades here. Boy, we're starting Monday off with a bang here today. Next one is going to be Ford. No, not the motor company. This is FORD is your ticker. This is Forward Industries. Forward Industries shares are trading higher after the company announced a $1.65 billion private placement in cash and stable coin commitments. Quick look around the horn on this one, 1.42% of the float shorted. And the other thing that's notable is that this is actually a lowering of the amount of shares held short from its last print. So it actually looks like some shorts actually bailed on this trade from the last update. It has 1 day to cover. That 1 day to cover comes on a ghost town of volume here. Almost 37,000 shares of average daily volume. That's nothing. Today we've traded 1.1 million. The float on this, however, 1.68 million. So right in that butter zone, that makes for some pretty good trades. 13, what do you think here on ticker FORD, Ford?
It sounds like we've got another treasury name on our hands. And before that 1.65 billion, they really needed to raise capital one way or the other. So this is, well, I don't think that this is just an announcement again. So there's no cash in the bank yet. They still are in a strap for cash right now. So I don't know that they aren't going to raise, but if they do get this private placement closed and get 1.65 billion, they won't need to do that. Now looking at the chart here, this thing is kind of gone crazy, and it looks like we're coming up to an area where there is some resistance. It looked like 32 had some resistance. We're beyond that right now at 33.13. Looks like the next area that it could run into some more resistance is going to be just a little bit higher in the same handle, but really some even thicker resistance comes into play in the 35 handle. So we'll see if that can even get up there.
Okay.
But this has gone on quite a bit of run already. It looked like it had pulled off of the high. Let me go back to a smaller time frame here. It looked like it did pull off the high of 47.25. But if it turns back up and comes back up, that area I just mentioned there in 35 handle should be the next area of resistance we see.
Okay, really good stuff. And I just want to take time here. We've covered 3 stocks that are moving 100% plus here today. A lot of this has to do with, Bitcoin or just there's huge moves here. Folks, be careful. If none of these fit your trade plan, if you're not sure, if you feel maybe this is a little bit risky, that's okay. There should be some other things here to trade. So a lot of news going on here this morning, but don't feel forced into doing something that you're not comfortable with. I know we get excited when we cover a lot of this stuff. Hard to not get excited when you're seeing some of these moves, but remember, keep your risk front and center. All right, next here on the list is going to be XAIR. This is Beyond Air. NeuroNOS shares are trading higher following the company after the company announced the FDA granted orphan drug designation to BA-101 for the treatment of glioblastoma. So Beyond Air says, so here, really quickly, this NeuroNOS is a subsidiary of Beyond Air, ticker XAIR. So that's why this stock is moving here. Quick look around the horn on this one. 9.44% of the float shorted with 1.9 days to cover. That comes on an average volume of 271,000 shares. Today we've traded 28 million plus. Float here under 5 at 4.7 million shares. What do you think, 13? We got a potential trade here in XAIR?
I didn't get into this one this morning, but it looks like there's also some news earlier this month, like last week, where they got orphan drug designation status. I don't know if it's for the same one or not, so you'd have to give me a second. It doesn't look like it is. This one looks like it's for designation BA-101, and the other one that I'm seeing is for 7-nitro-1H indazole. I don't know how related those are, but it's from the same company, so either they're just really, pumping out these drugs that are getting this orphan designation statuses, which is going to be very helpful because that means that they get a period of market exclusivity, they get some tax credits, they get waiver of fees, things like that. So That's great that they're getting these designations for multiple drugs, but like so many of these biotech companies, probably not going to make a lot of money. Let's see how their income statement looks like. Oh, hey, how about that? They lose about $8 million a quarter at this rate. So what's their balance sheet look like? They are going to probably have to raise. If they lose that kind of money and they've got less than that on the balance sheet, at some point they're going to have to do some kind of capital raise. So I'd look to see if they have done that one recently. Doesn't look like they have. The last one I see here is from 22. So be careful with this one. It looks like this one might do some capital raise as early as today, but no indication if that's the case right now. But just keep that in mind because they do need the cash if they're going to move forward with their business.
Okay, really good stuff here. I just wanted to highlight something here. This is our second orphan drug designation and further highlights our mission to bring targeted therapies to individuals and families affected by rare neurological conditions while also making our entrance into oncology. Glioblastoma is one of the most common and deadliest brain cancers in adults. However, patients have seen little improvement in treatment options over the past several decades. So if this can actually hit, sounds like there's going to be a pretty decent market here to provide some people with some much needed relief. We'll see if this takes off. Really good stuff here. It's holding higher by about 49% here in the pre-market.
Having a little trouble getting beyond 350.
Yeah, maybe, sure is.
Maybe it happens here pretty soon, but starting to see some these indicators here telling us that there might not be a whole lot left prior to the open. So we could see some weakness going to the open with XIII. Just keep that in mind.
Okay. Next on the list here, one from last week, our loop. So we did have a pretty nice move there on Friday. I know it kind of came back. So if you chase the move, it was kind of disappointing, but we did take out that high here this morning. Looks like we banged against 6 here in the pre-market. So far, we're right beneath VWAP, but we're basically right there. We're doing an all right job kind of holding this area. I'd be looking at, as far as this area goes, I'd really be looking at maybe 510 on the downside and then 578 or even 6 on the upside. We'll see if we end up breaking out of that range. As a reminder here, for some of the short interest, it's negligible on our 0.14% of the float shorted. There's literally less than 48,000 shares total held short in this name, and that has a float of 35 million. So negligible short interest. 13, do you think we get a repeat of Friday's fireworks here on our?
Maybe. I'm looking at the $6 level as the point of interest for me, where I think where you could see resistance. We did already kind of test that area once this morning when it got up to 595. But if you look at a daily chart going back, to 2022, you can see that ever since we lost that level back in early 22 in January, February, it's been having a hard time going much higher than 6. There's like some prints above there, but it comes right back in that same day. So lots of sellers as soon as 6 approaches. Looks like somewhere between 550 and 6. Really, the sellers really pick up. But for now, I don't know if we're going to get back up to that $6 level. It seems to me like we're still kind of like trading a little bit lower. We're beneath VWAP going into the open here. But we do have a bit of a trend line we can draw. And maybe there's an even larger one you could draw there with we have the chart backed out there. But I was looking at the short-term one just from the pre-market. Just the high, the 2 highs from the pre-market is a trend line I have. You've got a much longer term one, so yeah, there you go.
Well, we're going to draw them both here because now we've got several targets that we can look at here today, so no problem on that. But also, Smoke Tuna. Sorry to interrupt here. Smoke Tuna called for 688 on our. That was from last week. We'll see if that comes into play here again today.
Yeah, I think the thing that I would want to see here with this one is get above that VWAP. Get above that VWAP, and then we'll look towards that smaller trend line that you just drew to get broken. But got to get above VWAP right now. I think. What is yours at? Because mine's at 535.
534. They are basically right there on the head. So, okay, really good stuff there. HOUR. Okay, Octo Wrap, Forward Hour, and XAIR. We've got the big ones taken care of here. QS is going to be the next one. QuantumScape. Shares are trading higher after the company premiered a live demo of its solid-state lithium metal batteries powering an EV during a Volkswagen Group press conference at IAA Mobility. So none of this was on the docket for me. I didn't watch any of this. I didn't see any of this. So I'm basically just going off of the headlines here. You can see QuantumScape is actually giving a great trade for all of you pre-market traders out there. This is a nice power move up. All pullbacks were short and met with more buying. We'll see how long that lasts. I've got VWAP here at 955, and we're currently above 10 here on QS. Short interest here on QS, 11.6% of the float shorted here. It comes on 1.78 days to cover. That comes on an average volume of 41 million. So this, unlike some of the other stocks that we're taking a look at, highly traded, even when it doesn't have PRs like this. We've traded 12.8 million here today. Float on this one's much heavier at 450 million. But what do you think here on ticker QS, QuantumScape?
I think that would be the big problem I have with this, is how large their share structure is. That makes it one of those that if you've been watching for some time, I've always felt that they're not going to trade as quickly or as with much volatility as some of these other movers have because their float so large. So what you may end up getting out of with this one is some more upward price action that certainly could happen, but it's going to be slow. I think the trading in this is going to be slow. We've seen a lot of these where it is. This wouldn't surprise me if it's slow as well. We're starting to roll over here in the MACD, so I think that a VWAP test is going to probably come pretty soon. But don't let me discourage you from trading this. I just don't feel like it's going to provide the big outsized moves in a short period of time that we're looking for. It might go on another one of those runs that it did, like back in July. But I think that was on some different news. So don't know how much we're going to get out of this one. It's the share structure is the thing that always concerns me with this.
Okay, Zach here saying QS is great and the news is super, but it does have competition for the long run. So yeah. Again, a lot of the setups and the stuff that we're discussing here for short term only. We'll see how that shakes. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the Japanese company that's really far along with solid state. I want to say it's Toyota, but I'm not 100% sure because there's been some really big developments in solid state batteries. It might even be Samsung that's doing it as well. I can't remember.
You know what?
And they're South Korean, so I can't remember who it is.
The Toyota one sounds familiar. Toyota, also the company that really kind of killed it on hybrids there. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones that were kind of ahead of the curve on some of these batteries as well. So. Yeah. Okay, next here on the list, I don't know if this is actually going to give us a trade, but it's on the list, so we're going to cover it quickly with the remaining time that we have. This is ticker PT, Pintech Technology. Pintech Technology holding shares are trading higher. The company announced it entered into a share transfer agreement with ZTech, right? ZTech, ZII Tech. You can see this stock was a penny stock on Friday. We popped as high as $2 here in the pre-market. We've come all the way back in. We haven't back tested the $1 level. We are holding above it here. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but worth mentioning, negligible short interest, pretty much no shares held short here. On average, stock trades 62,000 shares. Today, it's traded over 15 million. What do you think here on ticker PT?
Well, I didn't go over this one, but let's see what their cash position looks like. It seems as though they've got almost 27 million in cash. Don't really have. Is this a foreign? This must be a foreign company. Let's take a look and see where they're from exactly. China. Okay. I think I got my answer. Well, I don't know fundamentally how I would look at this, but let's take a look at their technicals. Seems like we did get a pop all the way up to 212 this morning. We've since come back in almost about half that now. But if we do turn around and start trading higher, levels that I'd be watching for that look like they're going to provide resistance going to be 130, 150. And then somewhere in between 160 and 170 is going to be resistance. But then of course the 212. I don't know how much we're going to get out of this one, but those are the levels I'd be paying attention to if you believe that there is going to be some upside beyond the VWAP.
Okay. Really good stuff there. All right. I just want to go through the list here a little bit. Duo, this is another one from Friday. It looks like this is back on here today. I don't think there was any new fresh news on this, was there? No, this is just the news from Friday. So maybe some continuation, maybe a potential relative volume play. 6% of the float shorted there with 1.33 days to cover. So maybe not a whole lot of squeeziness, but ticker DUO. This also might be on deck here for today. And you can come back and touch on any of these as you'd like, 13, but I just want to go through the list here so we can move on. SATS, this is another one that we've been talking about recently. EchoStar shares are trading higher after the company agreed to sell its AWS-4 and H-Block Spectrum licenses to SpaceX for $17 billion. So this popped as high as 110, came all the way back to 80. Kind of a crazy range here. Stock is up 20% in the pre-market. You have any thoughts on this, 13?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that since this is the same one that was originally going to sell it to like Verizon and AT&T, right? Their frequency range.
Yeah.
And then
T-Mobile, I think, was in there too.
Well, hold on. I think T-Mobile and Starlink came in and said,
yeah,
hold on a second. We want that shit too. So we'll throw even more money at you if you give it to us. And I think that's what's happened here. So and they continue to get bid up until I guess we finally got our answer. Now we're making cheese. Look at that.
I mean, look at this chart, dude.
Yeah.
And this is not even showing the gap today. This is going to be up in an 80 handle. So I would be careful with this one. But man, anyone that took sats, especially on that initial pop that we talked about, this thing is almost a double from there. To be quite honest with you, just incredible. Okay, let me keep moving here. LDI, this is another one that seems to be moving as we're speaking here. Looks like Izzy's on this one. Good morning, Izzy. This is LDI Loan Depot. Did we have any news on this? Up 25% here? Indeed. So this morning, Citron issues a research report on Loan Depot. LDI's simple premise, real profits. LDI is armed for the housing war with services booked to support $5.50 and an unpriced refi boom that could send this name marching higher. So here you go, folks. This is going to be the tweet from Citron. I'll throw it in the chat to make it easy for you. Citron looks like a long call here. Positive mention on ticker LDI. Stock is up 25% here in the pre-market with a 550 price target right from Citron. 9.2% of the float shorted. That comes on 4 days to cover, 4.2 days to cover. Comes on an average of 2.4 million. Today we've traded 3.14 million. Float on this is 83.5. What do you think here on LDI?
Well, they were gushing about this on Friday too. They had posted on X as well that Trump would win the war on housing and Loan Depot is the top lender to benefit. And the market is asleep. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Citron big on Rocket?
Yes, they are.
So it seems like they're big on mortgages and housing.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that we should just keep looking at all the mortgage and housing names. I think those are all doing pretty well. So you got your Rocket, you got your LDI, of course, got your United Wholesale. I think Redfin and Mr. Cooper are no longer a thing because they got absorbed, right?
Yeah, that closed. That deal closed. So that's a done thing.
They're two different deals, and so you have a lot of I think that's something that you'd want, and this is one of the reasons I've been picking up a lot of United Wholesale. But this is just something for the future. If you share the same vision that Citron does, find your favorite mortgage servicer or housing stock and do what you want with it. Looks like we also have some short interest. With this one, you had it's the highest it's been in a while, if not all time, for Loan Depot, 9.2%, almost 5 days to cover. You have 4.2 days to cover, but man, 9% of the float short. That's the highest that I can see here from all the different reads we have going back to 2022.
And really quickly here, looking at LDI, there is an option chain, and there are a bunch of people sitting in the open interest and in the October, November, and in the December expiry. So it looks like people were kind of expecting this. There might be some more upside here. Ticker LDI. We'll see if that gets rolling. Okay, couple more.
That's right. Yep.
What's that?
Zillow too, says Izzy. That's right.
Yeah. Real quickly here, Planet Labs, they actually made some news here this morning. Planet Labs shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and issued Q3 sales guidance above estimates. Also, the company raised its full year 26 sales guidance. So ticker PL here from the space playlist. This traded higher here this morning. Looks like the top was just about 790. Stocks holding higher here by just shy of 14%. Again, a recap here on the short interest, 6.64% of the float shorted with 3 days to cover. 13, any thoughts on this before I ask you about Hood?
I mean, that's great. I'm not in this one. We've covered this one, like you said. I think you already touched all of this. It's another one of the space plays doing really well. I don't have an opinion on it right now, but we can talk more about it later.
Okay, Planet Labs reporting some earnings. That's trading higher here. All right. I talked about the news here this morning. For anyone that wants to go back, here's the news story that I covered. This is regarding Robinhood and AppLovin entering the S&P 500. That is causing both of those stocks to trade higher here this morning. Let's take a look at Hood. Let's take a look inside here. How about that? Hood back towards the impulse high from Friday when the news was announced. Hood here about 110. Barat, you were asking earlier, did you go through Hood on technicals? Yes, I did earlier, but now that we have 13, the technical ace here, we're going to ask him for his expertise as well. A quick reminder here, I love the fact that Hood had held the 50. That to me shows that the sellers were really not trying to push it down and were, frankly, there was probably some more upside if it could hold. We got that news. That news popped us above the 20-day moving average. But we have two trend lines here. I think I put these on based on 13's vision here, if you will. And it seems to me that we're going to have a resistance area here in a 112 handle today if we try to get back in there. I suspect going forward, this should be bullish for Hood. I would be entirely unsurprised if it tried a new all-time high. I just don't know if you're going to get that today. I would expect there to be some profit taking today. Hood's one of those names that gets traded all of the time, but this is positive news and not something that just kind of lasts for a day. This should actually last for a little bit longer. 13, what do you see here for key levels, ticker HOOD Robinhood?
Well, I'd like to see if we can get a back test of that trend line. We're almost there. So I think that the high from July 18th is going to be in play here today. That should be just shy of 113.50. So I think that's a level I'd be keeping an eye on. Okay. I don't know that we're necessarily going to find the all-time highs today or make new all-time highs today. I won't take it off the table, but it doesn't seem too likely to me. Just want to see what happens around that level I just mentioned, because if we do get some resistance there and we start turning around, I think I'd still be bearish on that.
Okay, a day trader here, fib extension levels pretty much right where we're at right now, just about 110, 109.86, and then also 127.65. Both of those are in play here. Also, Jared here, I have the same feeling, Jared. Jared said, guessing maybe Hood sell the news events. So here's the thing on these sell the news events, Jared. I've watched the market really just change its mind in the course of a day. So I would be entirely unsurprised if you saw some profit taking on Hood. Frankly, you know what I'm going to do here? And I'm actually going to look back to Friday here. I'm going to mark the bottom end of the pre-market range and the top end of the pre-market range. These levels, 111 and 107.25. If we break out of this level here, maybe we'll have a pretty well-defined trade here on Hood. I would be unsurprised if we sold down out of the open as traders kind of book gains on this news event. But I don't know if that's going to be it yet. So even if you do get that sell-off, maybe keep it on the back burner. The other one here that we had talked about, this is App. This is the same deal here as Hood being added to the S&P 500. You can see App holding higher here in the pre-market. You know what I'm going to do, 13? I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'll transfer those over to the other chart. We'll see what we get here on App, but this also higher on S&P inclusion.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we are at all-time highs.
Correct. This is a new all-time high if it opens. Yes, correct.
All right. Well, then we'll have maybe a potential island and a gap. Well, a gap for sure.
We shall see. We are already marked off here. Okay, 3 minutes till we open. I can't believe how great everything is. The main event tonight. I cannot wait. 13. Just get me to the game tonight. We got.
It's been a great first week.
I tell you what, man. People ask me all the time. They're like, Ryan, why do you care so much about this? And I'm like, did you see the game last night? That is the most exciting television in the world.
Even on Thursday, Friday's game was spectacular. I had a great time with Friday's game.
Yeah, I like it all. I like it all here. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else that I missed from you folks? Ponies, rainbows, puppy dogs, right? Mama Bear. I got to do something to try and stay calm here. Ryan's life is all rainbows and butterflies. Hey, it could be worse than that. I try to find the small things here to keep me amused. Zach here, by the way, Morgan Stanley and Goldman remain bullish on small caps for 2026. I will take this. This is exactly the type of stuff that I want to see. Giddy up.
They expect rate cuts too, then.
Yes, they do. And they expect more than just one or two. They expect a cycle there.
I keep seeing a lot of articles about the expectation for a large amount of rate cuts. I haven't really been seeing too much of this until recently, and I'm wondering, are we getting are our expectations, like, is the market expectations getting a little bit too excessive for what the reality is going to give us? I think we're only going to get a quarter. So
that's my thing too. I think we're only going to get a quarter on this first one here, but this is from the article this morning. The 3-month hiring pace has collapsed to 29,000 jobs, locking in expectations for Fed rate cuts in September, October, and December. 13, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm at 3 this year. I think I'm still in the camp of 2 this year.
I don't think they should be going too fast with rate cuts.
I agree with you.
I think like I've been saying for pretty much all year, they should do one in September and they should do one in December. And the only caveat I ever gave is if they don't do one in September, then we'll get one in October, and that'll probably be it. Yeah. So far, we haven't got it yet, but we're gonna get it later this month. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think they should be doing more than 2 this year.
I'm with you on that. Marty says, and bee stings. Look, I'm happy to report that I am completely recovered from that. What a nightmare. If I can get through today without getting stung again, we have a success. Market is open. Let's go, folks.
All right. What are we getting with Octo out of the gate? So we printed 20 right at the open there and came back in. Now it looks like we're trying to push up higher. There goes Octo. So this is the one that I was looking for 20 to 22. So far, we're getting that. And there's 22. Okay. Well, have a good day, everybody. That's all I was
Okay, I've actually scalped LDI out of the gate. That was a fast one. Sorry. That was a little bit of a drop there and pop. LDI, we are 1 for 1 already here today. Nice. Go Bears. Oh, you thought I was annoying now? Yeah. Oh, it's going to get fun here today. That is for sure. PayPal getting sunk out of the gate. Tesla, by the way, we talked about that 360 area on Tesla here. Guess what? 350 to 360. We pushed right up towards that area. Let's see if Tesla can have some more strength. Andis popping out of the gate here on no news as well. Giddy up, folks.
XAIR, that just put in a new session high. It popped up to 354. Looks like there's a big seller on the way at 350.
Here's your XAIR chart. LDI. Let's see, at 364 is going to be that key level. It's actually finding some resistance at 355, but I see a lot of buying prints there. If they take that 355, I think they pop higher.
PT is also trying to recapture the 65 EMA, and if it does, the VWAP will be next.
Here's PT. Good mention on that, by the way.
All right, looks like XAIR is about to try and push into that 350 area. That seller kind of spread out some of these orders.
Octo is halted. We'll take a look at that when that halted there. We'll take a look when we expect the resumption. XAIR, the spot here, just kind of looking at the trading here, 335 looks to be a key spot to get above on XAIR. Looks like it's pulling back. VWAP at 314. Smoke Tuna, what do you think about a load zone at 314 on XAIR? That actually looks okay to me.
And there's PT at VWAP trying to push through it. There's a seller at 135. It's trying to chew through. If it does, you got another seller at 150.
Okay, Duo getting mentioned by the group here. That looked like a little bit of a pull and a bounce. Watch for Duo to go higher. No position for myself there on Duo.
Yeah, but that was just hilarious to see Octo just hit those targets right at the gate there. This could still go higher. I mean, you know, like I said, that napkin math indicated that 89 to 90 might be the place this eventually goes with that amount of cash they're going to be having.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll leave this one on the screen here just in case we have a quick move. 13, I'm going to step away from the washroom. I'll be right back.
All right, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this is not cash in the bank for Octo yet. This is just an announcement. So until that cash is in the bank, this could, you know, go any which way. So just be careful and keep that in mind. Imagine owning Octo on a Friday, yeah, right? And then waking up on a Monday and seeing it do this. All right, so RAP, RAPP, holding above VWAP for now. Looks like that's kind of stalled. Ford doesn't look like it's really doing much of anything right now. XAIR pulling down beneath 350. Hour is halted now. It broke through that trend line that I drew and had Brian draw. 602 is now the high. So when he gets back, we'll see what his chart looks like with the larger trend line that expands over several trading days, because that's going to be the next target. Now, we might get a back test of this trend line that we just broke over an hour, so keep that in mind as well. We'll have to see what we end up getting here in 5 minutes when it unhalts. QS pops up to 1068, comes right back into the sideways consolidation it's been in the past 30, 40 minutes in the pre-market. LDI, still trying to get back up to that pre-market high of 364. Looks like volume is kind of slowed down here a little bit with this one. PT also backing off after hitting VWAP. Oh, here we go. It looks like XAIR is trying to push through 350. It just had a bit of comeback. Also, Ryan, we were just looking at hour. And,
okay, that's halted, it looks like.
Yeah, and look what it did. Because you have the drawings, right? Oh, you don't have the drawings.
No, I have them. Hang on though, because I have them on my other. It went right through this short-term trend line that you had. This is what it was. It popped through that. Here, let me actually extend the one that we drew here on Friday.
And here we go with XAIR. This thing is on a tear. Be aware, it's on a tear.
Love it. Love that the stuff that we are watching is going here. We got you all set for today, folks. We are going to have a good day.
Yep.
It's already been a good day.
Yeah, look at XAIR going. Okay, so this, I mean, we didn't draw a trend line, but I see one where it could go to. We just kind of ran up to it right now. Maybe you can go to that and see the.
I see it. I got you. I hear you clucking, big chicken.
All right. Well, Bach. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that.
Bang. Right to it. Right to it. I love it. Producer says he's got a touchdown early, and he puts a basketball in there. Oh, I love the producer. He's so good.
Oh, man.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. It's great to see you. I hope that you are as excited as we are here today, Anne-Marie. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry we missed you last week.
Yep. I hope your internets are doing all right today. Ford halted to the downside.
Oh, no. Octo. Oh, this was the initial halt. My signals is just catching up.
Yep. Octo, it unhalted, and it came down, and now we are at halting again at 1734. Hey, that was a pretty crispy target that I had there, wasn't it?
It sure was. Big Dave, 2 trades and I'm done for the day. Thanks, guys. Thanks, right. Big Dave, for putting in one of the shortest shifts in the world. Just absolutely awesome. You love to see it from this group, Big Dave. Go Bears.
Big gains from Big Dave.
I'll take it.
Next up, it looks like we could get some more movement here out of RAP if volume expands. Otherwise, we're going to lose VWAP.
Do we think that some of these high flyers might see rotation as some of these other stocks halt? I know we sometimes talk about that when we have a whole bunch of big movers. One of them halts. We think they might go into another one.
It's hilarious because the ones that are halted right now are the top three biggest movers of the morning. Octo, Wrap, and Ford all halted. I'm sorry, no.
No, I was going to say Wraps open. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got it that wrong. 2 out of the 3, which is, hey, we'll go with that majority. But Wrap, this isn't doing a whole lot right now. So that's why I was just kind of mentioning. Let's see what kind of volume expansion we can get on this. Looks like it's a bit of a little bit of a spread here too, about 20 cents, 20 to 50 cents spread.
Here, real quick, I did want to mark this off here. I had talked about this app went right out of that range, right out of that. Would love to see a back test here of 541 on app.
Sorry, I interrupted. But
XAIR, I got it. Is that what you were talking about?
No, Loan Depot.
Damn, I just guessed because XAIR ripping here. Here's Loan Depot, ticker LDI. I already had one trade on this. Am I going to want my shares back? No. We're still good.
It's slow moving, but it's coming up to the pre-market high. So we get a move through this. I think we're going to hit, and there's a bit of a trend you can probably see with your eyes, but the trend line kind of goes up to 370, 375, somewhere in that area. So if we get a big volume move, it takes us through that. It'll be support thereafter. So
I'll tell you what, it's arts and crafts morning with all the drawing I'm doing on these charts here today, but I'll take it because it's worked.
Yeah, and guess what? Oh man, XAIR 419 is the high.
Tennis is life. Tennis, what did you think about Alcaraz's victory over Sinner? That what an and Sabalenka beating Anisimova. How many trades do you take per day? I wouldn't say that there's a set amount. Some days are higher than others. I think on Friday I took one. I just really felt crappy. I took one, I lost on it, and I packed it up. Today, I've only taken one, but I'm looking to trade some more. It really depends on what the environment is like and what my day looks like. Right now, I've got some free time. All signs are a go. Bitcoin higher, markets are green, so I'm risk on today. I don't necessarily have a limit. It all comes down to the setups. I would say that our group, though, probably anywhere between 5 and 10, it seems. I know a lot of you folks often scalp the same stock.
XAIR running into a little bit of resistance, and it could be a little bit more
450
at the 480 area.
Okay,
but because I'm just kind of looking at the consolidation from March, and then we have this spike that we had in June that took us up to 585. So that's going to be a resistance area if we can get through the
LDI through the trend line. Sorry to interrupt.
Perfect. Real quick on XAIR, if we can get through that June high, the next level I see where we could end up going to is going to be 645, 650.
Okay, good stuff there. Jeremy says it was good to see Sabalenka win. I agree. I like Sabalenka. I always root for the Americans unless they're playing Djokovic. So I was rooting for Anisimova, especially after watching what she did to Swiatek after Wimbledon. But Sabalenka is a hell of a player, and she played a hell of a match there. So that was pretty awesome. U.S. Open was great this year. All right.
QS kind of slumping over now after hitting a high of 1068 out of the gate.
Yep.
This thing's kind of slow moving down. It's losing the VWAP, at least the VWAP that I have in the process. It looks like some support could happen down around 950. So there might be a brief bounce there, but this still looks like it could end up going lower towards 9.
Okay, XAIR coming back on to that 450 spot. That is your high print of the day. Volume looking good there. Here's the hour chart. We came back in through that trend line. Really quick, this is a good question here from Michelle. When do you know when to get out of a trade? I know you set a target, but how do you set your target from a gapper? How do I know when to get out of LDI? I hope this isn't a stupid question. There are no such things as stupid questions here, Michelle. Don't ever forget that. This is something that traders struggle with all the time. And in fact, in myself, you've seen this a lot on some of these like movers and gappers. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. These things can be volatile. So I have no problem taking my gains quickly. One of the things that I'm looking for, Michelle, you had outlined about some of the targets. 13 and I, we try to do a lot of these with trend lines, moving averages, VWAP, any other type of study that gives us a clear defined resistance level. Definitely trying to sell some at resistance, if not all of it. But the other thing that I'm trying to do, especially on a short-term trade like this, selling into strength. right? If the stock is pushing up and I'm in at a really good entry around support, I got no problem selling into that strength. It almost doesn't matter what the level is. If you think it's going to go marketably higher, that might be an indication to then scale as opposed to just selling all of the shares. 13, any tips here from Michelle on her question?
Let me read the question again because I was looking at something else. But I think it was about when to note to get out.
Yeah, how do you know when to sell is the TLDR of it.
Oh, well, some of the levels are some areas of where you can you take your profit. But I think what you were saying, Ryan, is if you see these large impulse moves happen all of a sudden, it's good to chip away at your position at that. It's going to, I think it takes a little bit of an understanding of like some chart patterns and, just practice of knowing where you, how much you want to take and watch your percentages. If that's how you're looking for an amount of gains. I don't have a whole lot more to add to what you said, but that's kind of the approach that I take. When you get a big outsized move, all of a sudden, you chip away at those gains. So make sure you pay yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really good stuff.
Trailing stops on really help too.
Trailing stops are really good. Smoke Tuna says, just understand if it goes up fast, it may fall faster. And this is why you hear us say, look, folks, it's okay if you take your gains. Like I took my gains on LDI because I actually got a pretty good entry on that little bit of a pullback when it held here right out of the open, right? I didn't even wait for the trend line, Michelle. I saw a bunch of strength. I said, okay, we're going to start our day in the green column here. Sold right into it. Now that it's back testing this trend line, I tell you what, if it holds here and moves towards the highs again, we could probably use that trend line as a stop. Okay, what else are we taking a look at here? Jeremy says, always have your risk defined first, right? Know what your max pain is, even if you're trading one of these crappier, movers, if you will. And I don't mean to disparage the stocks. I'm just saying these high volatility movers, have your risk defined first. Know what your max pain is. And then if you get a winner, it's a lot easier to manage.
Here comes 950 for QS. So anybody that's was on this for a trade, you may get some support at 950 here briefly. I don't know that it's necessarily going to hold up. And if it doesn't, you have the $9.65 EMA on the 5-minute, that area right there.
Octo. So did we have a pull and another pump into a halt here? Octo. Yep, halted 2086. So here you go. So this is a really good case study, right? This was, if I'm in Octo, stock that is up 1,000%, and let's say I'm in here at a consolidation area in a 16 handle and we get a push out of the gate, I don't care about what your upside targets are. I'm taking that multi-point push, take the gains. Look what happened. Huge pullback right to 18 and then another move higher. Stuff like this is not easy to trade. Don't be afraid to sell into the strength if you have gains.
Yep.
These fast movers will shake you always. You see that happen to me all the time on this show, get shaken from some of these only to have them work. Open is a great example of this. Who's trading Open here today? Look what Open did. This shook me on Friday. I took a loss on Open trying to trade this thing. Look what it did. It came all the way back the same day. Higher we go here. Now it sure looks like this 725 is your new spot here on Open.
And it looks like it wants to take it too. But you look at the price ladder and you can see the number of sellers in the way. There's some sellers at 720, massive amount of orders to be sold at 725. So we get through that. I think we're going to still have some shares to chew through going up to 730, but it really starts to thin out after 730.
Barat, I'm sorry, I'm getting to this a little bit later. Looks like your hood gap and go here. We did not even back test the end of that range. Hood just traded up out of the open, never came back to the 9 EMA. Now here we are. Looks like 115 test coming here on Hood.
XAIR higher.
Looks like a gap and go here on Hood, folks. If you're in this from the pre-market, I think your exit trigger is across beneath that 9 EMA, that current value at 112.
XAIR is behaving very well with the trend line. We broke through it, came back to back test it, and now we're going higher. 467 current high right now. Looks like it wants 480.
Okay, XAIR. This, I'm not in this one. I didn't even trade this one here today, but good stuff for the group. Let's take a look at a lot of calls coming through here. A lot of calls on NVIDIA, folks. More calls on Hood.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Nope.
before we had the halt, we opened lower, and now we're trying to fill the gap up. So after we fill that gap, I think I'd be careful with Ford. We could just turn around and continue lower. So just I don't know that I'd necessarily be trading Ford right now. I think we'd want to see a test of 24 first, and this thing is kind of spready. So be careful here. It looks like 70-cent spreads now, so be very careful with Ford.
Okay, and a number of you folks mentioning ONDS here. No new news on Ondis, but some pretty good action here. Looks like a 6 test coming back. Jeremy saying Ondis almost turning into a daily scalp trade. Excuse me, if that's what you're going to do, awesome. I'm glad this stock is finally trading better so we can take new looks at it every single day. I am still long several thousand shares looking for double digits. But remember, folks, I've sold quite a bunch leading up to where we're at. So this now, the remaining shares that I have could go to 0 and I wouldn't lose money. I'm not going to let that happen, but that's the situation I find myself in. I'm going to be holding for higher here on this. In the meantime, we'll try and scalp some other stuff. Octo still halted here, and my ladder shows that there are people bidding above the halt price. Wouldn't be shocked if this popped out of the halt.
I was just looking at so QS, we got that bounce down near 950. So here you go. If you're trading QS today, this is the level we wanted to see support kick in. It did. Trying to recapture VWAP right now. I don't have a whole lot of conviction in this. I'm not trading either, but I don't have a whole lot of conviction in this turning around and blasting off higher. I'm not saying it won't do that, but I just don't think it's gonna. We're gonna get that right now with the way the volume is. So I would kind of just be careful when you're trading this one. It's movement isn't that great. We did get that support around 950, but I don't know how much more of a run it goes on. Maybe we see 10 again, but there are some pretty good sized amount of sellers in the way it's starting at $10.
Okay, real quick here. Tennis is life. Can you talk about your ladder showing above the halt price? Can you show us where you see that? Thanks so much. Yes. Now, I will say with a bit of a caveat here. Here, let me see if I can do this. A little bit of a caveat here on this. Just because there's a bid there doesn't necessarily mean anything for its price. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Can you guys see this? So I've got Octo pulled up here. Here's the ladder that I was talking about. There was bids in here at like 2097. So it's halted here at 2086. There was bids above this price. This is what I was mentioning. But as you can see now, I don't see this here. The other thing is 13 will occasionally mention this as well. I feel like some of you guys have some system that's better than my broker at showing this because you guys often have more information than I do. I was just shouting out what I noticed there. Tennis, let me know if that answers your question.
Meanwhile, our unhalted and it went down pretty quick to the 65 EMA, printing as low as 468, trying to turn around right now and make its way back up towards VWAP. Looks like XAIR is going to try and push higher now. Watch the area at 450. Lots of sellers there.
By the way, Robin, that T-Rex ETF that we talked about here, that is ripping here. Good stuff if you were on this hood move. Looks like that gap and go still in play here. That's ticker HOOD.
Nature Lion, another lion, says SkyQ. Wow.
That's a penny stock, but that is ripping here. Indeed.
Okay, well, hey, if it gets to $1, then we can take them.
I mean, we can anyway. I don't want to be like the anti penny stock Scrooge over here, but it's just I don't have great success on that. This is a pretty nice move for you penny players out here. This one's moving. Sky Quarry.
And looking at a daily chart for SkyQ, we are approaching. Actually, we may have already hit the 200-day SMA at 80 cents, so could see some pretty tough resistance there. As we start to back off from that level.
Smoke Tuna mentioning Duo here. I don't see a ton of volume, Tuna. I did see it kind of kick up a little bit. 450 still seems to be that spot. Really kind of want this to hold 418, don't we? We really kind of want to hold the VWAP here. I also, let's see, I've got VWAP 421 in my broker here, 417 in TradingView. We are right there on ticker DUO right now.
QS slightly above 10 right now, approaching 1020, where I think that's just going to be a big resistance area. There's some sellers in the way. It looks like it was a bit of a tough area in the pre-market. So if we do get some more upside here in QS, I'd be keeping an eye on that 1020 level. That looks like the area where rejection could come.
Okay, also saw some QS calls hit the tape here. Those were the 10 calls that expire in January. So looking like an upside bet here.
LDI trying to push through that trend line again. We have a high in the regular session here of 383. trying to go higher than that. We'll see if it gets back up there. It's at the trend line that we drew. And XAIR, we did hit a 472 high, backed off of that. We are still going sideways here. I don't know if we're going to continue higher or not from here before we get that volume leaving the market in that at that 10:30 time. But later on, this might be another one that trades better in the day. I'm certainly expecting some of these to trade better in the afternoon.
Just to kind of go back to Michelle's question from earlier, how do I know when to sell LDI? Well, here we go. LDI currently running up to a resistance level. Now, as traders, we don't know if it's going to move through. We might have a feeling based on some of the momentum, but it sure looks like 380 is providing some resistance here. That intraday high print was 383. This is a resistance level. So this might make sense for a level to peel partial. New highs now. As we take that out, maybe we're going higher here on LDI. Just trying to run through possible strategy here for some of these kind of volatile movers in the morning.
Yep, new high, raise your stop. Maybe you've raised it to the point where now it's above your cost, and you're pretty much not going to lose on this one now. So yeah, you make new all-time highs. That's a good signal to raise your cost.
Now the other thing here is that LDI. So the previous high was 383. Now we just pushed up there. 389 is your high print. So it does look like it's trying to go, but it's clearly running into some resistance at this area. Mm-hmm. We never know for sure what's going to happen. We're always trying to kind of play the percentages, but there are things that you can do, like 13 just talked about raising your stop. There are things you can do in the midst of that trade to make it easier and perhaps even safer on you if you're really kind of focusing on your risk here. 389 up, there is some sellers there at that spot. When will Octo unhalt? Good question. Let me see if I can actually discern some times here for you on that. Oh, I have to type the ticker in, right, if I'm going to do any such thing. Here's Octo 1286. Looks like hour just resumed right now. Octo, the last halt was at 9:44. It should unhalt here. If it's a 10-minute halt, it should be coming right here. Paul saying Octo's going to rip to 27. We're going to find out here. LDI 390 is your high spot. So 9:44, it's 9:54. Maybe this was a 15-minute halt. 9:59 maybe on Octo. Maybe that's your resumption time. Yeah, we're past this 9:54 time. So 9:59 and 22 seconds looks to be our next unhalt time for Octo. Planet Labs on the back of its earnings report, new highs here today, 831 ticker PL. This actually gave us a nice little dip and rip too.
Oh, yeah. It's almost profitable. It's a lot of money they make.
Palo Alto at the highs. Bitcoin still holding higher here by 0.5%. Crude higher by 0.5% here as well. Tesla had that initial pop up to 358. We pulled all the way back down to 351-ish. Tesla's bouncing here. This has kind of been all over the map this morning.
Going through some of these movers from earlier. It looks like QS kind of hanging out still at $10. XAIR trying to push higher. Still hasn't gone beyond that 472 it made about 15 minutes ago. PT struggling with VWAP. Multiple times it's been rejected so far in the regular session here. LDI looks like it's trying to get to $4. We hit a high of 390. Looks like we're about to push a little bit higher. See a good amount of sellers around the $4 area.
XAIR back under 450. We'll see if it makes another attempt to move through that. QS still holding $10. Now we're starting to see some Tesla calls get bought. There were puts bought into the pullback here, but now Tesla maybe drawn in some call buyers there. See, what else do we have on here? LDI, that looks to be the other one. How's HIMS doing? This is, I feel like with all of the stuff going on, kind of taking our eye off HIMS a little bit.
Seen a lot of ads for that lately too.
Yeah, I see the, I was watching a lot of tennis as we were talking about earlier. Saw the Serena Williams commercial. She's on GLP-1s.
Mm-hmm.
She's advertising for Roe. Isn't that part of the HIMS brand? LDI 390 now, right back at the intraday highs.
So HIMS, hitting the 50-day SMA for the first time since the beginning of August, looks like it's having a hard time staying above it. The value I have for the 50-day SMA is 50 and 22 cents, and we're at 50 and 15 cents. So keep an eye on that level. If we can't close above it, we might be seeing a rejection here in HIMS that could take us back down a little bit.
Ryan, you in anything now? No, we are 1 for 1. We took LDI right out of the open, not in any day trades at the moment, but we're hunting, Izzy. We're hunting. How about Amazon? It popped a little bit there and pulled back. What do we think? What do we think on Amazon? Think we might revisit some of those highs?
Sorry to interrupt you. XIII are still trying to push again. It just started getting a little volatile.
What do we think, Izzy? Think Amazon? Maybe a move towards 236? That would actually make for a pretty decent scalp. Let me know what your call is here on Amazon, Izzy. Took scalp already on Amazon. Do you think we have some more moves back to these highs? AMZN. VIX here, by the way, 1528. So it's actually traded a little bit lower from the pre-market highs. And we should be coming up on an unhalt here for Octo, right? We're approaching the 959 area. So let's see if we get an unhalt here on Octo.
CAD Monkey saying CVX. Chevron actually came down and it's getting some support from the 50-day SMA. Would like to see this hold and turn around here. So we'll see if that ends up happening. If we lose it, then I don't know. Oh, here we go.
Octo is open. Told you, there it was. That was the 15-minute haul. Octo 26 almost. Who called the 27? Almost there.
Wow.
There it is. 28.74.
Wow.
Octo. I'm not in this, but this is a ridiculous mover here.
Yep.
Spread pretty crazy. It looks like.
Careful. Be careful. This could be a reversal here if we can't push higher into 30. That was a good one. Here we go. 28, 29.
What a move here on Octo.
Yep. It's just that at this stage, I don't know that I don't even want to touch it because of just how spready and volatile it is right now. You kind of have to have conviction in your levels that you put it out for orders. So if you don't, then don't lose your hat over this. What a great trade this was.
I mean, this stock is up 1,800%, guys. Like, it's okay if you don't want to trade this and you want to trade something else.
Hour is halted again.
Zach, I like this. When's the time to short Octo? Look, I don't make my living jumping in front of momentum moves to the upside, but I see why you're asking it. Some regression back to the mean probably due here, OCTO.
Sometimes feel like to catch trains like Wesley Snipes did in Blade.
Okay, I like the Wesley Snipes Blade mention. No question about it. Yeah, Brian says, I saw an 80-cent spread and said, forget it. Look, when I'm trying to day trade some of these movers, a spread like that, pretty much too rich for my blood. I have to have something else that makes me feel confident about the trade. I don't have that with Octo. 31 plus now on your Octo high print. In fact, your high print of the day there, 32. Good God. Barat says, where do we get Tuna Signal AI? Being here in the chat. Tuna's here every day. Tuna's here every day. He's sharing it with our group here. No other group has the Tuna Signal AI. Don't forget about that. Tuna, we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Kat, why are you screaming at me?
Oh, man. Octo 32.46 is the high now.
I figured out why my cat is screaming at me. He knows that today is the first Bears game, and I've got a Bears jersey for the cat, and he knows it's getting put on him today. He doesn't like it.
Looking at you like bears.
I'll try and snap a picture of my cat in a Bears jersey for you folks.
PT.
Dude, Jared with a 6-point gain there. Yeah, we'll ring the register for that.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to click on Jared's comment, but
that's
there
nice.
We go.
No, everybody that was in Octo, I hope that you made sure you paid yourself. You've been getting some great moves today. A PT, this is coming down to some of the pre-market lows, so this one might be finished here. 111 is the pre-market low for today. So we can't get a reversal here pretty soon. This is probably done. We're going to back off of Octo right now after hitting 32.46, trading beneath $30 right now. Might back off a little bit. If this is still going to go higher, then it's just going to cool off and try to find a base. So that might be the next move here, is to look for that base to form.
Wrap here. This is another one of our big movers here. This so far is holding the VWAP, but this actually has some weakness. I don't think I like this. Tess says, "Oh my, I can't even imagine putting a T-shirt on any of my cats." It's an interesting. He at first he deals with it, but then once it's on, he's like, "Okay, I'm done with this." I will try and get a picture though.
XAIR hold down to the VWAP. Sorry to ruin the story.
You didn't ruin anything. Octo, looking for the Chewbacca sound effect. There you go. Thanks, Octo. You're welcome. Ring that register. Let's go.
No, it could push another time, but like I said, I think it needs to pull back a little bit and kind of find a base, and then can keep on going. Remember, we did talk about how this could run up to $89, $90 based on the cash that it's trying to acquire here, and that 250 million, that is an announcement. They haven't closed that private placement yet, so this is trading as if it's already happened.
Around here.
Stop apologizing. I just did it. Sorry, I had to.
What happened?
I interrupted you. I'm sorry, man. Tennis's life said 13. Please stop apologizing. It's okay to interrupt Ryan. I just interrupted you again.
Yeah, it's okay. Tennis's life doesn't set the rules. First of all, number one, but second of all, that's okay. That's how the show goes. I understand. There's no problem there. Ondas at the highs there, 611. We'll see if it takes 611 off. Planet Labs, this also continuing higher here, and Octo still holding above 30.
LDI and Open, these look like they're both trying to push up, and well, it looks like LDI is trying to make a new session high. Open looks like it's got a similar candle on the 5-minute chart, trying to push back up here as well. Might see a new high here in LDI. Open certainly wants to try and get back up to 725.
Oh man, Octo 34 now. That is a high print there, boy. 13. Oh my God, 21,000 shares more. This is all over. This Octo is wild.
35.50. Oh yeah.
NVIDIA, that pop, that's coming off of its highs, but it's not terrible in there. INVZs, I think someone was asking about this earlier. This kept going too, basically rode the 9 EMA and popped to new highs here.
Tennis, I think he was just talking about that particular moment that 21,000 shares had moved.
21,000 shares had traded at that high, and then it blew right through it.
Looks like it's going to go into another halt here, Octo.
Yeah, I've got this at 37.23. If it holds here.
Nope.
And they didn't hold it.
Looks
QS
like
is starting to make a higher low intraday.
Yeah, and it looks like Ford is starting to show some signs of turning around. Got a lot of VWAP, a lot of EMAs to move through if it's going to recover here, but it certainly looks like it's trying to turn around.
Octo, this is halted again here, isn't it? 38.49, your halt here on Octo.
Oh, it did halt now? Okay,
It did halt now. Octo is halted.
And we have a new high in LDI, looking for 4. Last sellers at 4, looking to take those out.
Float on Octo, 2.8 million, just shy of 2.8 mil.
XAIR, now that Octo is halted right now, or yeah, it's halted. Watch and see what happens with XAIR. This might be the one that gets going. To your point earlier about some of these other ones moving when one of them or two of them are halted. So we might be getting that here with XAIR.
Now, XAIR, we would have really liked for this to come all the way back into the VWAP, maybe even back test the trend line. That's going here too. Let me bring it up.
Sorry. No, I'm not supposed to apologize.
See, he doesn't make the rules. Now you're going to be thinking about that. Here is our. Let's see if this can pop 6. That was where it stopped it earlier.
Yeah. Okay. So LDI took 4. Can it hold above it? That was a nice little capture there.
See, just to kind of go back to our other discussion here, Sarah here saying, I caught wrap on Friday after hours at 1647, but I sold it at 1782. Stupid me. See, I don't think that's stupid. You're using the benefit of hindsight, which you didn't know at the time. You still sold $1 plus into the move. Hour, by the way, new highs as it takes out 6.
Yeah, I don't think that's stupid at all. You made money on the trade. You did exactly what you intended to do, and you made money. I don't think that's stupid. We
don't ever know for sure where these stocks are going. Even if it feels like we're doing things right, we don't know for sure. Selling into strength, getting your gain. Tim Melvin talks about it all the time. He talks about when you get money, that's why he likes dividends. When they pay you money, they can't take it back, no matter what the stock does. Well, the same is true on these movers. If you sell into a move and if the thing doubles and then sells off by 80%, you're still probably going to be glad you sold that. If you're going to be active, you can always trade these things multiple times too. Don't ever be mad about putting gains in your pocket. Hour is halted here, 612 to the upside.
Fantastic.
Wrap, that's coming back into the VWAP. I guess watch wrap and see if it holds there, but that looks kind of weak to me. Ford's trying to curl, did not quite get to its 200 EMA.
I think I'm good for now. The way that things are starting to get a little weak, we're approaching that 10:30 time where we start to see volume leave the market. I'm not going to force anything from here. It's been a good morning. But you know what? Keep trading, folks. You see something, you can make money off it, go for it.
Michelle's asking if there's a way to predict the gap. Michelle, unless you know that news is coming that the market doesn't know about, and I'm telling you right now, that is rare and in some cases illegal. Look, I don't think there's any way to. Here's the other thing. You might catch one or two of these, but what you should really be focusing on is what is repeatable. I don't know if there's a repeatable strategy to know which stocks are going to gap. You might have an inclination. Maybe you traded Robinhood in the after hours on Friday after news of the S&P inclusion, thinking, maybe it pops again here. If that's the case, there's another 5 points here. You never know for sure. Never know for sure. Hood, by the way, might be slowing down here. So for any of those on the gap and go, maybe time to book gains.
Okay, so here we are again, back with the Halt brothers. We have Octo, Ford, and Hour all halted again.
Okay.
So look to XAIR for some more movement, maybe even RAPP, although I think XAIR might be the better one that Fridays trades. Should also see some movement from LDI as well. Now that we have those two halted. LDI, a new session high right now. Brad wondering why does trading halt? It can be for a number of different reasons. Sometimes we'll have news halts. Usually today what we've been seeing are volatility halts. For different reasons. And if there's news coming and the company is halted, it's because they don't want to.
XAIR knifed there.
Did it? I still have it trading up.
Yeah, it pulled back to what looks like 420 there. That was quick. Happened quick on that XAIR. Maybe this comes back in towards that 450 breakout spot. There's another scalp. Jim says, yes, Ryan, after the inclusion, I had Hood. So how did you trade? So what did you do with that, Jim? Help the group out. How did you manage that? Did you buy that on the news thinking that we were going to see more of it? Here, I'll go to open.
No, Octo is open.
Oh, sorry. Octo.
48, it just hit.
Oh my God.
Now it's backing off. Might fill the gap here.
Ondas at the highs too. Oh, what a day, folks. What a day. Just give me this Bears dub later. Bears.
We might not see Ryan again because it would just be
No,
too
you will.
day.
You will. I'll just be so annoyingly happy that y'all might be like, okay, Ryan, dial it back a little bit. I mean, I'm still kind of blown away by what Octo has done here. We are now up 3,000%, folks. You know, Tuna's asking about a record here. I actually don't know the answer to this. What is the highest percent gain trade one day ever? This is a good trivia
52.
question, Tuna. I don't know what the answer is.
52.
50, what?
Yeah, it hit 52. I guess we could see our 89 to 90 print today. I guess if this keeps going, maybe it's possible. 54 now. Now there are a couple. What was it? HKD? Is that one of the ones that went super crazy? Maybe even more?
HKD. That might be a good one. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to have success Googling this because they're just going to talk about, you know, stocks that people know.
AI hallucinations. I'm not hallucinating this. 5682 now in October.
Yeah, this, you know what, Tuna? I don't know the answer. That is a really good trivia question. I would love to know the answer. I can't believe Octo is still going here. No position for me. Grats to anyone that has this.
And you know, I think we have to kind of like make a little bullet point. Like this isn't going to include like any of these really stupid low penny names that, you know, if it gets like 2 cents, it moves like 20,000%. You know, you can't include those.
Yeah,
gotta be
none of that trip zero nonsense. I'm with you on that. You guys.
Big
Tracy, you were talking about top as being one of those that one day.
Oh yeah.
I don't top. What's pulling? Sorry.
Octo, big pull.
And this is why chasing again. This is why chasing sucks. Hopefully, you didn't chase that move up at 57.
Oh yeah, of course. Like Lionel was mentioning in UKK and Oklo too. I think Oklo did something very similar.
Here you go. In 2015, K Bio traded for 10,000%. Tennis, that you can find stuff like this. Like it happens. It happens. You just.
Well, that's over 5 days.
Paul says, I did, but I bought it one share at a time. I guess that's one of the ways to say that you were involved in something that you don't necessarily feel great about.
Octo, now down to 39.28 and in a halt. Yikes.
Downside halt here for Octo.
So for those of you that, let's say that you were trading Octo and you sold at like, 25 and then it ran up to 57. This is why you shouldn't feel too bad, because you're not one of those people up in the 50s and 40s that are now holding this bag for the time being. Maybe this goes higher today, but I don't think that they'd feel too comfortable with seeing this halt right now.
And that's the other thing. Tracy's bringing up a good point here. Most of Top's move happened in the after hours. So that's the other thing, is that the after hours is like the Wild West. And I mean, you might have a piece of news. You can't use market orders there. It's all limit based. There's less participation. You can see crazy stuff happen in the after hours. I think if we're opening it up to that, there could be just eye-poppingly huge numbers like we've seen before. Hour here going higher now, 650, more new highs on the trend break an hour.
Perfect. And that's great discipline, Brian. He stops looking at tickers after he exits. Doesn't matter what it does.
Yo, actually, you know what? I'm going to comment on that too. That is a really pro tip. There have been a number of times where we had like a really good trader and I've been like, I'm just going to hit this all day long. And then at some point throughout the course of the day, the trading action flips and it changes. And I'm still trying to apply the same thing there. If walking away from something after you've extracted a bunch of money from it, never a bad decision. Don't give those gains back. By the way, if this madness continues, using the trend line that we drew earlier, I have a target near 10 for hour. 10. Hour at 664. I'm not saying it's going to go there, but judging by the trend line here, this now becomes one of our targets. We'll see.
I think this might, the price action might better serve, if we're looking for that trend line to get hit, if it back tests the one that it just broke through. I think we need, and that would be about a VWAP too. So if we come back down here and back test the trend line that we just broke out of, I think that, and create a base, I think that would really help with getting that move up to the other trend line that we're talking about.
Tennis's Life says he's done for the day. That means that you must have made some money. Have a good one. Go Bears, Bears. Oh, this is gonna be a day long remembered.
Oh man.
I know. I'm excited. I don't know what to tell you. Good vibes all day, folks. LDI, we came back in beneath 4. We're still holding higher here. So again, I've got 403 as your intraday high print. Maybe watch a break on that.
What's the SPY look like it's doing? Are we starting to roll over here?
Yeah, SPY's basically trading sideways here, but you could make the case that it could roll over from where it's at. Yeah, and Barat asking open, it trades so much volume yesterday, but hardly moves. Is it because of the float? I would say. I would also say that open, this is clearly part of the meme stock craze. So you're eventually going to have more flippers in there that are looking for very short moves up and down in price. And then with a float of 630 million, you got people trying to trade it for short-term gains. I think that's how you get some of these eye-poppingly huge numbers.
Okay, after we got a bounce off that 950 area in QS and traded back above VWAP, we are now losing that level. And the next area of support that I see is going to be down at the 65 EMA, which I have a value of 915. So
okay, I've got that too. Got that too. As far as the SPY goes here, you were talking about that rolling over. This is what we're looking like. We do have some of these wicks down here. I think if you lose 648, maybe you do pull back a little bit. Lion mentioning 12 minutes until our 10:30 pullback time. We'll see what we do there. Tom says the Benzinga Brigade does it again. Are you surprised? No, I'm not. SPY actually rolling over now.
All right. Well, I guess I'm glad I said something.
Yeah, yeah, pretty good.
All right. I mean, I'm pretty much finished for the day too. So, what's everybody trading right now? That because we are about 10 minutes away from that. Maybe there's some kind of short trade that we could do. SQQQ might be a good one. I don't know. I'm not taking any positions right now. It's the SQQQ and the TQQ haven't set up to my liking, where it's extended away from VWAP. So. Not going to take anything there, even though it looks like we are trying to, sell off in the market. Just not going to give anything away. It's been a good morning. A lot of people having a good day. Let's keep it that way.
Hood here, by the way, this is now back testing that 9 EMA. So again, for the gap and go trade, this might be your closing trigger here.
Folks trading XAIR an hour. Nice stuff. So you just got a little bit. Go ahead.
I was going to say XAIR, this came in and back tested the VWAP, also back tested the trend line. So far it's held, but it has not shown the increase in volume that we want to see and maybe a push away. Still worth watching here. XAIR.
We do need to see an expansion of volume here. Volume is looking a little paltry right now. And I'm looking at the price ladder and I see a lot of sellers from here all the way into the 450s. So, little concerned about XAIR going a whole lot higher at the moment. Maybe it does that later on in the day after the lunch hour, but for now it looks like this is going to try to get pushed down.
Profit Pilot says 20K from Octo and I'm done. Okay, that will for sure get you a registering and Chewbacca's approval. You enjoy your Monday. Octo. Go Bears. Bang, bang, bang.
Octo is open. We're back into the 45 area. Just be careful. Don't want to get another pull.
XAIR so far, that actually might be bouncing here. XAIR, be careful with that. I would just have a stop planned out for that.
Yep.
Here we go, XAIR.
Yeah, you see more volume expansion. It could take out a lot of these sellers. There's still a bunch in the way, though. And RAPP coming down to the 65 EMA. Could see a bounce here. Don't know if we're going to reverse, but at the very least, we should see some kind of a bounce. Ford unhalted, went up to its VWAP, got rejected. If it can hold, if it can hold 2750, it may be able to push through VWAP.
LDI kind of stopped right there at 4. It's currently at like 390. XAIR 430 now. This is trying a little bit of size there at 430. If it takes it, it probably goes higher here, maybe to 440, 441. 430 back on. They took a lot of the stock there, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. Took it at 430. There's more there at 432, and they're taking that. XAIR. Yeah, Brian says, please don't hold a bag on Octo. Look, I agree. Don't lose money on Octo. If you're not sure what to do, there's easier stocks to trade out there than Octo. If you made money from it, great. If you're still in it, maybe think about getting at least partial of your gains booked, but don't chase something. Don't let the excitement divert you from your own plan. Remember, risk always your first priority.
That has halted the downside now. It's actually down at some of the pre-market highs, so it could be some support here. It's also at really close to the VWAP. So once it unhalts, and this is the pullback that we were talking about, we wanted to see with this one before it goes higher. So if we out of this halt, if we can hold above VWAP, we might print slightly beneath it, but if we can hold above VWAP for the majority of that next candle and create a base, then I'd be looking at this to go up towards that trend line, thereafter. So we'll see if we end up getting that.
ACRV, did anyone mention this one here? ACRV, this looks like this came off a little bit of a bottom, this double bottom that was formed in the pre-market here. We're back above the VWAP. This wasn't on my radar. I didn't trade this one, but it is moving here.
It doesn't appear to have any news. It seems like they had a presentation on Friday, maybe.
Yeah. Something happened Friday in the after hours that drove that here. Sats, by the way, after that SpaceX Spectrum license, Sats actually pretty disappointing. Cannot get above its VWAP. That to me is going to be one of the keys. Do you drive a CRV? I do not. Really reliable cars, though. One of my buddies way back in the day had a CRV.
XAIR, it's starting to get a little bit of volume here.
That 430 was a key area there on XAIR. Pulled back down to 430 there. We'll see if this sets up here. I would actually like entry a little bit closer to 4. I don't know if we're going to get that, though. Ondas is at the highs. I will take it, man. I will take it.
Ford has got low volume, but it's still got that setup to where if we do get a volume expansion, it could break through the VWAP. RAP is getting some support from the 65 EMA. Volumes, it's a spready too. I think be careful with RAP. I don't like the spread on this.
That's RAPP you're looking at, right?
Yeah. PT had a nasty pull all the way down to $1. If this thing goes under $1, I think we're done with PT today, folks.
Yeah, RAP, no bueno here. RAP's all of that was in the pre-market. The move, then the flip to the selling volume, and then the increased expansion of that selling volume. This told you here. Head and shoulders on Astus.
XAIR is trying to push through 450. If it gets it, we might see a new session high.
So here's what you have on Astus. What happened here in the pre-market?
Let's take a look at ASTS.
Wild action, a little bit of a pull there in XAIR.
Okay, so there's remember we talked about how Starlink wasn't really a problem for ASTS, but eventually they would be?
Yeah.
It's starting to look like it might be. There was some news that came out from today. It's from Tip Ranks, so
Okay, so this move down basically got bought back to balance here, but there might be some future competition trouble there. It sounds like.
Right. Especially if the new Starlink satellites are starting to become equipped with capabilities that is able to provide the frequency ranges that ASTS uses. So that's something to watch for too. Okay. ASTS eventually Starlink is probably going to end up hurting them pretty bad.
Robinhood, how about that? We back tested that 9 EMA and moved higher here on Robinhood. So this also, we talked a little bit about gap and go where you can use the 9 EMA as your trigger. This is one of the reasons. We had a nice little impulse move right out of the open, came back to the 9 EMA, held it, didn't break through it, held it, and now higher we go here, 116 coming on Robinhood.
Nice stuff.
This has been a really good morning.
Yeah, and I think we're just getting buttered up for a big pull later once the inflation report comes out.
Okay, so you think that, because we covered that a little bit here earlier today, economic events, PPI on Wednesday, CPI on Thursday, you're expecting that to be the catalyst for a down market move?
I don't know. I mean, I think we could, inflation's probably going to, not meet expectations. But I think the more concerning thing for me at this point is the idea that we're going to get more than a 25 basis point cut.
Okay, so you're thinking maybe a 50 bips cut, and that would actually represent a negative, or are you talking about the multiple cuts?
No, I'm saying that there's an expectation. It seems like I'm seeing more and more, discussion about an outsized or a big cut at more than 25 basis points. And
you know what's interesting about that, 13? Sorry to cut you off here. What's interesting is I think we've been reading similar things here, and I definitely have noticed that it seems like people are expecting more cuts, but I read it differently. I didn't think necessarily a 50 bips cut. I just thought maybe more frequent 25 bips. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are expecting more than 25 basis points cut this month, but I think if it's if they are expecting that and it's not, then we could see some temporary downside in the market.
Open, this pulling back to the 200 EMA on the 5. I've got that value at 673. Looks like there was one test there already. I bring this up because remember, the last time open traded up out of the open and then bottomed on the 200 EMA, that was actually a buy spot for that day. Does the same thing happen here today? Place your bets. I think if you want to trade this here, you probably need to first think about defense and think about where your stop is going to be in case we lose this moving average with conviction. So I would get your stop. If you take this trade, I would get your stop set before you start looking at targets just to make sure you keep yourself protected. But look what happened on open last time. Pop out of the open, sold down to the 200 EMA, bounced from there and held higher into today's session. Maybe this sets up again for another trade. OPEN.
And in about 30 seconds, it will be 10:30. And we will have volume be pretty thin for a short period of time. Chester's saying NHD.
Oh, that was a big mover last week. What's going on with NHD? INHD.
It's up 20% right now.
Okay, and here we go. Look at this. Great call, Chester. Yep. Right to Friday's intraday highs. This is what stopped it before. Are you surprised it's stopping it again?
Hold on a second here.
I was asking rhetorically, but if you want to answer, that's fine too.
No, I'm just kind of looking at something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say XAIR pulled back a little bit. 450 looks to stop it. I think it's kind of a gamble trying to buy this pullback. I'd like to see that come into the VWAP again.
Doing some mathematics.
XAIR going to make me look like an idiot. It's just going to go right back to that 450, I think. Got one scalp on XAIR here today already. And another scalp on LDI. We're 2 for 2 on the scalps. But we're like 1,000 for 1,000 on Ondas, though. That is just awesome that it is keeps doing that.
If INHD does not move over 1170 and go on a run, I think it's going to pull back here a little bit, and you might get some support just under $11, like around 1095. So let's see what we end up getting here. Because if this is going to make the move I'm thinking, it should have already done that and been in the 12s. But since we're backing off, I think we might end up getting a little bit of a cup with handle.
I believe you told us last week that Ondas has a conference. Yes, but doesn't that start tomorrow? Hang on, let me get you those dates. That's a good mention there, G-Man, but I didn't think it started today. I'm going to check for you. Let's get those dates again. You're right, though. There is a conference here this week.
And they also filed to sell more shares.
That was on Friday.
Right. But that looks like that just got bought right back up, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if that was from the open filing that they had. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. G-Man, you are correct. That conference starts today, September 8th to September 10th. The presentation time, though, this is what I thought. The presentation time for the first Wainwright conference is at 8:30 a.m. Eastern on September 10th. That's Wednesday. So I don't think that they're actually presenting right now. The following conference is the next day, September 11th. That's the Lake Street Capital Best Ideas Growth Conference. So really good mention here, G-Man. Looks like their slot is 8:30 on September 10th, but that conference began today. And Ondas is rolling here. It's up 15% today.
Buy the rumor, sell the news?
I hope not. Hopefully it's just buy, obviously.
Well,
but
I'm not saying this is going to completely sell off and go like down to $2 or $3. I'm just saying like people are buying up in anticipation of the presentation, and you'll probably see some selling when they present tomorrow.
Or you might. Yeah, no, you very well might. And remember, this is another stock that came from Twitter. So there are definitely bag holders in this. There are definitely people that have regret. Mark Petrino's lesson on market psychology. I think a lot of that's going to come into play here. And actually, if we take a look at that, sure looks like the next really big resistance up here between 8 and 850. This was also a consolidation area back from 2021.
Just real quick, someone who was asking about hour. It looks like we did lose VWAP on the way back down out of the halt. Trying to recapture that at the moment. Kind of in the sideways consolidation from the pre-market. And we are in that time where volume is going to leave. So not sure if we're going to see a recapture of VWAP soon. If we do, then I would be a little bit more confident in saying that we could get back over 6, but need to get above VWAP first.
And the trend line, frankly, because we're beneath that as well.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
XAIR looks like it did run into some resistance there at that 450, kind of as I anticipated. Coming back, it might not be done for the day, but did find some resistance there. We'll see if hour can get back above this trend line and the VWAP. That actually might cause a pop if we're able to do that. VWAP, I've got it at 561 in trading view here.
SkyQ is almost $1. Yeah, it's on the doorstep there. Just nice. Oh, we didn't look at this, but look at the price action here. It was trying to spend this morning getting over 80, that 200-day SMA. Ooh. And when it finally did, it had a massive breakout.
Sorry.
I was going to say, that was the level, the 200-day SMA for SkyQ. That was the breakout spot. And here we go. Looking for $1 now. Go ahead,
Nature Lion, really good stuff here. Just because I don't like pennies, folks, that doesn't mean you can't make money off of them. Really good stuff here. In at 61 on SkyQ. Nature Lion, let me know, what's your exit plan? Is it $1? Is it $1.10? Is it a specific indicator? What's your plan to book gains on this?
It looks like the last time it was up over $1, it ran into some trouble back in May and June.
Look at the knife on XAIR. I'm sorry to interrupt. We could not get above 450, and look what the stock did. Big pull here, so maybe if you want to try, buy the pullback might be a better idea there. Just be careful on this one.
Support areas that I see for XAIR from here are going to be 350 and then the 65 EMA down at 313. Remember, folks, we are seeing volume leave the market. Just make sure that if you're doing this trade, you're not forcing anything and getting yourself into a position where you're going to be holding a bag. Looks like NHD still trying to push higher. 1170 is the current session high. Volume's really low, and it's a little bit of a spread here in NHD, but looks like it wants to try and get into 12. No, not taking any new positions here. Like I keep saying, volume's not where it needs to be for a lot of these trades. I'm not forcing anything. I think we'll have better opportunities later on in the day.
I love this. Nature Lion says, I'm scaling out around 1 and 150. So it looks like your first target here is 1, and you would look to scale out of those shares as you continue to move up to 150. Let your winners run. Seems like you have a plan for that. You don't need me to trade these pennies. You got it yourself. That is awesome to see. HOUR, are we turning around?
That's a good 150 is a good spot. That was support back in November, and it was resistance in January. I like that spot, 150. Well done on your trade line, Nature Line.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Don't let Lion give you any shit about your name either. The other Lion, I should say. Hour, boy, it's trying to get above this trend line, 13. It's trying.
Yeah, I don't want to, poo-poo this or anything, but remember, the volume is just not where it needs to be right now in the market.
Yep.
So I think it's a little bit more of a tall order to get back above the view up right now. And I don't want to discourage anybody from trading this, but I think the better trades are going to come later on in the afternoon when volume will come back. So don't force these trades, folks.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think forcing it is a good idea. If you want to, maybe sit on it, see if it breaks this, see if something happens. That's one thing. Oh, look at that. Just as we were talking, that's what it does. How about that? Breaks the trend line and the VWAP. Who's long there? If anyone.
We still got to close. We still got to
close above 5.
We've got 2 minutes left in the
70,
candle.
yeah.
SkyQ hit $1. Nice. Is open turning?
I can take a look at that. Let's bring up open here.
It looks like it's losing the 200 EMA. Might be some support down around 670 where we're at. That was some of the highs from Friday. So based on the price action from Friday, I would think that there's support coming pretty soon.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Based on what happened on Friday, look, we peaked below the 200 EMA and then we got bought back above. Look for the same thing here. We're right at this. Okay. We're right at this. Maybe it dips a little bit lower, maybe 660 handle there and then rebounds. Just watch it. XAIR, hour, looks like it's still struggling to make a continuation move through the VWAP there.
Mm-hmm. Volume.
G-Man says, Ryan, what about the Broncos defense yesterday? They did look pretty good. I'm playing against them in fantasy, but I should have that matchup all taken care of.
NHD, here we go. Just went higher. 1272, 77 now. NHD. Boom.
I'm curious to see what happens here on open. I'm curious to see if we hold this area or not. I'm wondering there.
Let's see here.
Yeah, and by the way, so we were talking earlier, it's a good mention here. We were talking earlier, it looked like the market may be flirting with a rollover there. Look how quickly that changed. We are higher now. S&P 500 futures up 0.3. We are at intraday highs here, 649 on SPY. Yo, Izzy, your 49ers won. They stink. Let me tell you something. Christian McCaffrey had a lot of people literally getting ready to find Kyle Shanahan and pound him into oblivion after it appears he lied again about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey saying, not so fast, baby. What an absolute monster. He's single-handedly going to win another one of my fantasy matchups there. It was good to see him be productive all game. Oh, and then one more thing here regarding polls. The man from Snowy River is asking me a question I don't know the answer to. Maybe producer can take a look at that. But we did ask you about Octo earlier today. What price will Octo close at? 30% of you said between $10 and $20. 29% of you said 35 plus. 21% of you said 20 to 35, and 19% of you said sub $10.
It's either going to drop here or it's going to try to push back over 50. Like right at this spot right now, it looks like it's going to make one of those two moves. Where this closed today, I mean, I have no idea where this is going to close today. It could do whatever it wants. Maybe I'll just go with my initial assessment from where I thought the high would be, 20 to 22, before I said the 89 to 90 based on the cash they're getting. So I'll just say somewhere between 20 and 22.
Okay, 20 and 22, you fit into the 20 to 35 group there. 21% of the viewers agree with you, 13.
Cool. I'll take it.
And yeah, we just used the built-in YouTube poll. I appreciate you folks participating in our polls. We like to get a feel for what the community out there thinks. Sometimes we generate content off of that. Appreciate all of your participation. By the way, Wrap showing us its first signs of life intraday here. We rolled all the way over to the 65 EMA, and we've bounced pretty clean off that 35 and a quarter handle here at 36 and 3/4. We'll see if Wrap can get above its VWAP. Got that at 37.38.
I'm not particularly fond of the price action we're getting an hour. It's two candles now. We've got an attempt of trying to recapture VWAP and the trend line. 2 candles we have getting rejected. Here we are on the third one. If this candle that we're in right now cannot do the job that the other 2 previous candles did or couldn't, was trying to do, I think we're going to come back down. So we need to get a VWAP recapture. We need to see this candle close over it. We need to see it close over the trend line as well.
I've got VWAP in my broker at 567. We just moved above it, but to your point, 13, let's see if the candle closes above it.
Yep.
It did this once before and got yanked right back down. You can actually see it right here on the chart with those wicks above. We're above the trend line. That's good. Let's see if we hold above 567 here on hour.
Yep. This candle's looking a little bit better, but we still have 2 minutes left in it. So need to see that close. This is looking much better, but gotta close. All right.
Breaking, NASDAQ is working with regulators to introduce the trading of tokenized securities per Reuters. I don't know exactly what that means, but it looks like they're trying to open up more trading vehicles here, which is a constant theme that we've seen.
And are they going to be using a particular type of crypto or blockchain to?
There was no other context. It was just a headline, unfortunately, but you're asking a good follow-up question, 13.
All right, hour. Still pushing above. Gotta see.
This looks good.
Yep. Just a little concerned about 605. If we can get past that too, I think we're gonna try to test that or challenge that 684 high.
Looks like $6 might be coming here on hour. Morning, guys. I overslept. Good morning, Amanda. It's okay. We had such an exciting day of football yesterday. You probably got caught up watching the Bills-Ravens game late. So we're not docking you any points here today. Hopefully your morning is going well. It must be after that Packers victory. But the main event tonight, go Bears.
All right, hour. Here we go. Hit 605. Is it going to hold? Or are we going to back off and have a head and shoulders on our hands?
And Izzy, this is why I was asking you earlier when Amazon came back in, when it came back in after that pop, this is why I was asking you, is this a decent scalp move? It's exactly what we got here. 2 points now. We ripped through the VWAP. We had the volume increasing there. This did coincide with the market move. I think you were watching the broader market when you were looking at Amazon earlier. I didn't take this one because I've been messing with some of these others. 3 for 3 on scalps, though. Not a bad morning.
Your point about open and the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, so far that has been reversing. Still need to recapture VWAP, but it's a matter of so far so good for now.
Michelle, no, you generally don't hear this all season because after they start getting stomped, I don't mention them every week. But if the Bears are really good, it might be a long football season for you. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
So you're probably going to want the Bears to lose, Michelle.
I'm not going to fault anyone for that. Don't worry about that.
Here we go.
Hour, though, looks like that might be closing in on 6.
NHD, that's trying to push to session high. Here we go. Just flew through 13. Not me, the price. NHD now at 1320 is the high. Hour, we did get that close above the VWAP. We came back down to test it. Don't want to see a head and shoulders here. Let's see some more upside. Let's get further into this 6 handle. We're trading beneath it right now. If we lose VWAP here and the trend line, I think our pattern's starting to emerge.
I'll tell you something. This did find a little bit of resistance at the Friday intraday high, but eventually it resolved higher here. NHD, what was the next spot that you have?
Oh, I wasn't.
Okay, yeah.
I was talking about a different stock at that point.
This one probably. This is actually at a level right now.
I was referring to hour after it had closed above the VWAP and the trend line. This next candle, we need to see continued upside, or else we're going to lose those levels.
I'm thinking 1550. Your next spot on INHD. That would be my best guess right now.
And open, great move off the 200 EMA. Just reversing. We're testing the VWAP now. Looks like 720 has a large amount of sellers.
Did it really do what we said?
It really is. It's really doing it.
God, I love this job so much, guys. Look at this. The pattern is now completed. We did it on Friday. We're doing it again here today. So open, if you did take this down here at that 213, you were just talking about the VWAP there. It's 4 cents above. This an area to sell into this, at least partial. Right now, I don't know if it gets above VWAP, but this is actually a pretty decent trade already here.
Well, what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Dude, part of me wants to go tailgate. I literally just want to go down there and just start eating a bunch of food and I want to tailgate, but I'm going to exercise. Hopefully I'm going to avoid another bee sting today. That would be ideal. And we're going to do happy hour.
NHD is halted at 1423.
I'm going to have a tough time containing my excitement today. That's for sure. NHD, this was a great mention here, by the way, early before we tested the Friday intraday high on INHD. Ondas here, by the way, 650 was your day high. This pulled back to 640 a little bit. Ondas still looking pretty good ahead of that conference dates that we outlined.
Big Bees saying that FTAI has taken Goff. So I guess are the Lions flying now? Taking Goff. It's taking off, but
what happened?
Goff is the quarterback for the Lions. Come on, man.
I don't know what you're missing there.
Okay, I'll start over. Big Bees is saying FTAI is taking Goff. It's a mistype. I made a joke. You didn't.
You just needed to draw me a map. All you needed to do was draw me a map, and I got there okay. Ryan, I'm heading down there to Riot Fest in a couple of weeks into Chicago. When is that? That's awesome. I think. Good Lord, time flies. We're 12 minutes till the end of the show, Tom. This is what happens when you make money and you have fun in the morning. Your entire day outlook is made better.
Open is back up at that VWAP again. NHD is still halted. LDI is trying to turn around again. PT still coming off of testing underneath $1.
Really quickly, I'm just going to go back. Michelle had a question earlier about how do I know when to sell? And Open is actually giving us an amazing opportunity to discuss strategy. Our entry here, we identified from the chart based on a previous pattern here, right? A hold at the 200 EMA intraday on the 5-minute chart. Okay. We saw a run last time. Okay. We're looking for that again. Well, we got it here. We don't know if we're going to get a big extended run here. We moved right to our first resistance area and the stock stopped there. This right here, your first spot to take gains. Maybe a little bit before that, if you wanted to front run that, make sure you get filled, totally fine. I would scale partial right here, stop at break even. So now it's impossible for you to lose on that. Now you got a feet up trade, right? Put your feet up on the table, wait for this to continue to work in your direction, raise your stop if it continues to perform throughout the course of the day to maximize your gains. But this is kind of how you can come up with a plan based on what the stock has done and done recently.
Keep an eye on hour. If the big move doesn't happen here, I think we're going to lose VWAP.
Going to see Green Day. That's
nice.
I liked Green Day when I was younger there. Let me post it on that. That should be fun. That should be a lot of fun. Hour here doing a decent job trying to hold just shy of 6. If Hour pops above 6, you might have another move higher here. Open looking pretty good now that it's taken its VWAP.
Octo is going to roll over, it looks like.
Oh, no.
Probably will lose 30.
How proud of you are you from our group? And we had a number of people just absolutely make a killing on Octo, and they said, you know what? We're not going to give these gains back. We're just going to get on with our day. And now we see Octo, big pullback from the highs, maybe a potential rollover.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
No, I'm glad, because then everybody gets to come back here and we get to do this all over again tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not particularly thrilled with the setup either, Smoke Tuna. It's got to see, the thing is, it's got to get over 6 and close over 6 now. And if it doesn't, then I think we're going to lose VWAP. And QS, man, this thing has just kind of been pretty much what I thought it was, what they thought they were. And
we are just out here. Barat, another cool 27K hood app Avago traded today. Really good stuff there, Barat. Did you do a 90? Did you do the gap and go? What was the trade plan there today?
Open.
Rob says, do you have any tips for stopping trading after you make a lot of money? I can't stop. One tip here.
Go spend it.
Yeah, well, no, you definitely look. If you make money from investments, you always want to keep a portion of that rolling forward so you can build your investment portfolio. But if you need something to do on a day just to force yourself to get away from the computer, tell you what, if you're married, go buy your wife some flowers and say, I just love you so much. I just wanted to give you these here today. That might help. Maybe go play golf. I don't know. I'm sure you can come up with other ways to use your time. But hey, the big thing there is if you're making a bunch of money, giddy up. Good for you.
And
Wiz says go golfing, but you got that right, brother.
And look at open. This is our third green bullish looking candle. I feel like after this candle is done, we're probably going to get a little bit of selling. So keep that in mind as you know, the day goes on with open here. I think we're going to see a little bit of selling in this. We want to see the VWAP hold up with the next candle, though, if we want to see this go higher. So now 3 green candles in a row. Next one could be red. I would anticipate that.
Lion says, go take your family out for shopping and have a great dinner.
Yeah.
Dip Buyer says, buy Ryan another Bears polo shirt. Unnecessary. Costco's got me on that. I've got plenty of them. Save it for your family and your significant other. Forget me. I bake or garden, keep the hands dirty and off the keyboard. Tess, this is actually an awesome comment here. 2 other hobbies that you like, and I love the little added part there about keeping your hands dirty so you don't want to muck up your computer. Love it. Go touch grass, as they say.
Yep.
Raffle says just buy gold with your... Actually, that's not even a bad idea, right? If you make a whole bunch of money, maybe put a little bit into physical gold or something like that.
Yep, store that value.
You know what I like to do when I have big wins here, like when I was selling some of my Ondis and raising cash, I just took some of that and threw it into some of the dividend stocks that I have, like Starwood, because I know if I just forget about that money, well, it's going to continue to pay out dividends quarter over quarter. Mama Bear, does Costco have one of those for the Packers? Not the Costco here in Illinois. That's for damn sure. Maybe up in Wisconsin they do.
NHD, I think this is a halt. It unhalted and hit 1483. Now we're pulling off that high. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but we are getting a little bit of a pull off the 1483 high. And we're just waiting for, where is it? Is it hour? No. Or yes, I think hour. We were looking for hour to come back in a little bit if it couldn't capture 6. And then, gosh, what was the other one? Open. Here we go. So now I was mentioning the 3 green candles we had. The next one could be red. Here we are starting off with a little bit of a down move here, trying to go green. As long as we don't lose VWAP, we should still continue with the upside. But I would expect this next 5 minutes to have some sellers.
Tracy, take care of yourself. Really good stuff here, Tracy. Amanda says, I do send someone flowers or a cheesecake. Then I can't trade anymore because I've already spent some of the profits. Pay it forward, right? Pay it forward to others in your life. And if that also gets you to stop and save, not bad. Okay.
Open still trying to push higher.
I'll tell you what a trade called live here on the open. That was spectacular.
NHD.
This has just been another great day.
1565. Yeah, it has. Oh, you got these multiple 100% runners. In some cases, over 2,000, 3,000% runner. We talk about how when we start seeing a lot of these in a single day, that can signal market tops. So let's keep that in the back of our minds. Could be some pain coming in the broader market. All right, so far open not giving us a red candle on this in this current 5-minute one here. We got 3.25 minutes left, so still could sell. In HD,
I tell you, I can't believe this is working so well. I really can't. I mean, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. We literally talked about the entry. We talked about the plan. We talked about how to get out, how to protect your gains. And it's just doing what we expect. I mean, it's just, that doesn't always happen. So when it does, time to enjoy it.
That's a good one, Zach. Get on your motorcycle. Go ride. Gosh, now I want to go to Glennis. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a pull here. So this is more or less what we were looking for here. Couldn't get a hold above 6. Yep. Now we're losing VWAP.
Called that one too.
Coming down to test the trend line. If the support could be there, but if we lose that, then I don't think support's coming until lower to the 5 handle, like 525.
Smoke Tuna says, if you have extra money to spend, just go to Monaco for a day. First of all, you must have a ton of extra money to spend. I bet a Monaco trip is not cheap. With that being said, I would love to see Monaco, and I would love to be there during the race. That would be something else. That would be something else. Can't believe we called this hour really good. Let's take a look at Octo before we sign off here for the day. Octo. So this came back into the 15 EMA and is bouncing. I'm telling you this. I can tell you 100% I will not trade Octo the rest of the day. I might scalp something here, but I wouldn't go after one of these huge volatile movers. I'd go for something a little bit more tame. Dip buyer, I think we're going to get 3 total touchdowns out of Caleb. Maybe 2 in the air, 1 on the ground, but I think you're going to get 3 tutties, and I think you're going to have people saying, boy, we might have made an early call on that kid.
I need performance from Moore and Hawkinson.
There you go. I need the tight end to get into the end zone. Colston Loveland, look for him to have a big year this year. Okay, let's see. What else do we have going around here? Rocket came back. Amazon still at the highs. That's why Izzy is so fired up today. Apple's actually down 0.2 ahead of its iPhone event tomorrow. We'll see what comes out of that event there tomorrow. All right, 13, we are just about out of time here. We're going to send you over to Trader Bacon next. 13, any closing words for the group on this unbelievably awesome Monday?
This is if this is going to be a case of the Mondays, I want every Monday to be like this.
You got that right.
So, folks, have a good time watching the game tonight if you're into football. I'm having a great morning. I had a great weekend. I hope you're having a great morning too. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go outside and touch grass. Goodbye, folks. I'll see you then.
Yeah, bye-bye. Sounds good, 13. Get ready to come back tomorrow where we do it again and we make some more money. For right now, I'm going to send you over to Trader Bacon. Thanks all of you for joining us. The Benzi gang never disappoints. We had money all over the place here today. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused, and we'll see